I'm gonna be working at the same time. I'm not gonna hold you.
That was up.
Pre-O dub from Alan R. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate the hate. I'm here for it. How you feeling today, Mars? You straight?
I'd rather not reveal my sexual orientation, but I'm okay. I'm okay.
I didn't even ask that. I said, how you feeling?
You asked if I was straight. That's just not relevant, though.
This fucking kid is crazy. This guy's crazy. You guys are disgusting. Real Talk's telling me L hosts are starting late. I got all of this.
20 minutes late is crazy.
Why do people blame me for things like this?
20 minutes late is crazy.
Y'all were live on the panel, right?
20 minutes late is crazy.
See, there's people like you. That's why I don't fuck with you. It's just a work relationship.
Our title as well.
I love the title, actually. Who is Jace? Who is this guy?
I already sent the link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have nothing to say because I don't care about Dominican cat.
You don't care about Dominican cat? I love Dominican cat. I love Dominican
Well, then
cat.
you can go ahead and talk about Dominican cat.
I put a video. I posted online. It's my dude, bro. I actually love this version of Cat way more than the other ones. He just seems like he's having a blast balling for his country and stuff. He's been playing pretty well too. I'm not even gonna hold you. But salute to Cat, bro. Hold up. I want to find this video because this video. Whoa, hold up. How'd I mute myself? You can let people up.
Hello, guys.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Yo, what's good?
Whose mic is cooked? JC talk?
Yo.
Okay, you're not cooked. Manuel talk? Yeah, you're cooked, buddy. Yeah, you gotta go. You're cooked. Fix it. I don't know what the problem is, but you're cooked. How you guys doing? You
doing pretty good.
People.
Doing well.
There we go. That's better. You guys are not cooked because Emmanuel, I don't know what he was doing, but that was terrible. I have nothing to say. So if you guys want to talk about basketball, go ahead. I have no words. Literally, I'm here just to not get in trouble.
Anyone catch about the FIBA games? Apparently Latvia upset Spain today.
Anyone see Latvia upset Spain? Anyone see that?
No, but I watched Luka dominate per usual. You know what I'm saying?
Who did Luka dominate?
Australia.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, they play pretty well. Playing pretty well defensively, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Luka's gonna be locked in this year. Don't watch out, Mavericks.
They advanced to the quarterfinals now, right?
Skinny Luka, bouncy Kyrie.
Yo, am I here?
Yeah, you're not cooked no more. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that Josh Green and Dante Exum are both on the Australia too.
Why? They're Australian. What's funny about it?
They're Luka's teammates.
What's funny? Oh, Luka has Australian teammates, and that's funny too.
Yes, extremely funny.
Okay, so you're weird.
I was curious, like how they would defend Luka, and they didn't defend Luka well at all. So,
well, to be fair, Dante Exum has probably never played with Luka. So
yeah, but Josh Green has. So you know, 50-50.
Yeah, but no one in the NBA can defend Luka. So
you're right.
Practicing.
Wiggins, you're right. No, I was just curious about it because Josh Green.
Great combo today.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Lo came in the chat and said, "Here I come," and he said, "Awards are done." I'm waiting for Lo to come in and we could talk about accolades because I don't care about FIBA. Dub made this terrible title, and here I am having conversations about stuff.
So people could talk about
talking about.
I mean,
yeah, like I'm gonna be honest.
Hold on, Mars.
Remove.
Yeah, no, bitch, get your ass up here. Listen, if you want to talk about something, I tell you this all the time. Make the fucking title. Make the fucking title. If not, then shut the fuck up.
No, I will just complain about how bad of a job you're doing.
You're bitching.
I'm just gonna complain about how bad of a job you're doing. That's what I'm gonna do.
Stop. I tell you numerous times. Come up with a title that you want to talk about. What do? Crickets. Shut the fuck up.
Do better.
Just shut the fuck up.
Do better.
Shut up.
Do better.
You sound like a little girl.
Do
Cut it
better.
out.
Do a
Cut
better
it
job.
out.
Do a better job. Do a better
Jesus
job.
Christ, I feel like I'm dealing with one of my side.
This week, you've had Dominican Cat is the best
I
cat,
swear to God.
and you made a thumbnail with Max Struess on it.
I
Like
swear
I don't
to
know what
God.
happens,
Mars,
but
then do
your
something.
ability to
Then do
create content
something.
has fallen
Then
off.
do something, Mars.
No, do better.
Do
better.
something.
Do better.
Golly, bro.
Do better.
That's
I mean, to
I'm
be fair,
extremely-
Cat's
I'm
been playing
extremely
really well in the FIBA tournament. Like, he
Open
just had a
gym
39 and 10 game.
Open
For
gym.
There's
sure.
no open gym beef. Dub is just trying to
Mars
be
is just
responsible
bitching.
for the demise of the show.
Mars is just bitching. Mars is just bitching.
Dub just wants the
turmoil.
show to fail. That's all it is.
Mars is just
Okay.
bitching.
All
It's
right,
terrible.
here's a thing to bring up. Karl Anthony Towns versus Joel Embiid. Who do you think is better offensively?
What?
See what
Embiid.
your title has done, Dub.
Wait. Who's better? Who offensively?
Joel
Stop,
Embiid and
stop.
Karl Anthony Towns. What do you
It's
mean?
Embiid.
Whoa.
It's
Dub,
Embiid.
do you see what your title has done?
I didn't
I don't know
ask
what-
the
I don't know
question.
what Like you're tricked by the
We
three.
wouldn't be
I'm
talking
just-
about Cat
just
if
a-
it weren't for this title. And now
No,
we've
just
got Joel
and
Embiid
I'm
and
just
Cat
talking
talks.
about.
This is good content, bro. Shut the fuck
You're
up. and
tricked
just
by
answer
the
the
shooting.
Do you
question.
think that the
Embiid,
clearing? Do you think that Joel Embiid clears Karl Anthony Towns offensively?
Nah, you know what? If you really think about it,
Nope.
Cat
Here
shoots better.
comes
Cat
Tars.
Where'd he go?
Cat shoots better. True, of course.
True.
Yeah, he does.
Shoots the 3-ball better. I
He
don't know
shoots
about
better.
mid range.
Who has a better handle in your opinion?
Embiid,
Joel.
low-key, I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah.
Joel.
Why does Joel Embiid have a better handle?
I just think he has a better
You seen the
handle.
step back three
Why?
hit during the season? Come on.
Just because me watching him, I just think he has a better handle.
So
Now, when you watch
It's
basketball,
at the very
Cat-
least
so-
arguable.
so Cat's getting to the rim on the perimeter.
Arguable
Better.
handle.
Joel Embiid is
What are we talking about right now, bro?
Joel
Embiid got a nice
Embiid
handle for
does a
that.
hezzy pull up and everyone loses their mind.
yeah,
fucking right.
like,
Yeah, that's not
When
natural
you
for a
do a
7-footer,
handle,
bro. What?
What's he really doing? What's he really doing with the ball? That's really special.
What's Cat doing with the ball? That's really special.
He's getting the ball on the perimeter and hitting crossovers and getting downhill. What are we talking about?
exactly.
Joel
can't do
Embiid
that?
does
I
that
agree
too.
with that.
No, Joel Embiid. This is Joel Embiid's game on the perimeter. He gets the ball on the 3-point line. This is the pump fake. And then he drives.
Now,
That's what he does. And I know you've seen that.
Nah.
That's his game. And it's that. That's the pump fake.
Mars.
He got a
That's
little
what he does
dribble.
every
back
time.
there. He got a little
I
dribble.
fucking hate you, Mars.
That's what he does. Tell
Like,
him,
what
man.
is
And if Joel Embiid is banking on the foul calls when he goes
I know
down the line,
everyone
Cat-
who saw me do that pump fake can think of 25,000 times they saw
He's
Joel
done
Embiid do
that.
that.
He has done that a lot.
That's
why
his
doesn't it work?
game.
Why doesn't it
But
work?
he got
so
he
well?
has a
works so
good
well.
handle. He does have a good handle compared to Cat for sure.
Nah,
it's
man, that handle's
it's
not
up
moving,
there.
man.
It's not.
Cat's
There's not a
never
clearing.
done like that. I'm not going.
Exactly.
I'm not even going to say.
And Cat's
I
a
won't even
better
say it's
passer.
clear.
Cat's a better passer.
Okay.
Okay.
But who has more gravity? That's Embiid. So we can move.
Who's better?
I'll give him big gravity. I'll give him big gravity.
Yeah,
I'll
give him
that.
Who's a better
gravity.
finisher?
Embiid.
I'll give him big finishing. I'll give him
Driving
big
down the
Mid-range
lane,
shooter.
I don't know. Cat.
I already
No,
said
no.
shooting is Cat. Shooting overall is Cat. You don't need to break it up. into
Even
categories.
mid-range
Shooting
shooter.
overall is
What are
Cat.
you talking about?
Shooting overall,
No.
Cat
shut
shoots
up.
better.
See, no.
Cat shoots better.
I think the gap in
three-ball
3-point
shoots
shooting
better.
is bigger than the gap
He
in the
He
shoots
mid.
just
the
takes more
three-ball.
middies than Cat. That's the only thing.
Cat shoots better, though. We
Like,
don't
as a
need
pure
to. We don't need to
shooter,
play
like,
this
Cat's
game.
better.
Cat
Like,
shoots
3-point
better.
midi, free throw. It's all Cat.
Cat is just clearly a better shooter than Joel Embiid.
Can we find another convo? Because this is
No, I
disgusting.
think this is a
No,
good.
this is
I think this
actually
is.
nasty.
I think this is a
This is
necessary
not a
conversation.
conversation.
This is the
Disrespecting Cat
hard-hitting
like he's
questions
not
I need
like
to
This
get.
is not a convo at
How
all.
is it
This
not
is
a
not a
convo?
conversation.
So Embiid clear? Okay, yeah, I agree.
Embiid does not
Embiid
Cat
clears
Embiid does
Cat.
not-
Yes,
How
Yes,
do
he
you
does.
clear
Yes,
if
he does.
Cat's a better shooter and Cat's a better passer,
That's it.
and all Embiid does better is a hezzy?
drawing fouls. That's all
Finishing,
Embiid
finishing.
does.
Mark,
Alright,
shut
cool.
up.
He
Drawing
finishes
fouls.
better.
Finishing,
He finishes
gravity.
better.
Mark, shut up. Mark, shut
I
up.
think he's
Cat
my
You're the one who,
no.
you're the one who
Cat.
said this was the
No,
content.
Cat,
Now I'm creating
Cat,
content. You're getting
Cat,
mad at me.
Cat. Mark, shut the fuck up and play it wrong, you dummy. Jesus.
No.
Christ.
No,
What's
because
the
I'm not
point?
about to
We can
get
look up
cooked
the
Cat,
mid-range
in
Cat.
your pursuit of content.
No,
I
you're
don't
getting
care about your
cooked.
percentages. I don't care. I don't care. I've seen them myself. I don't care.
So
I
you
don't
know
care.
that, so you know Embiid's a better mid-range shooter.
Who's a better shooter overall?
No. Embiid. Joel Embiid. He's a
So
better
when
shooter overall.
when people say Cat's the best shooting big man of all time, I ain't never heard you say, "Oh well, it's Embiid." Technically, I've never
best
heard you say that.
3-point shooting.
No,
sure.
he said shooting
No, they
big
say
man.
shooting. They say
He
shooting.
said shooting
And
big man.
my-
I've never
Mars,
heard you say. You
this-
know what?
they
Embiid
see-
might be the
and
best
Which is
shooting big man.
also
I've never heard you
false.
say
And
that.
Which is
again, and
also
again,
false.
and again, and again.
He's not the best
again,
big
I ain't never
shooter.
heard.
And
I ain't
again,
never heard
and
Dub
again,
argue
and
against
again,
it.
and again,
You
and
have to
again,
be fair. That is
and
true,
again,
though.
and again, this goes to my point where Mars thinks that everyone just thinks that everything is his definition, right? When I'm hearing shooting, I'm automatically going towards 3-point shooting. Automatically.
Because you don't hoop.
Shut up.
You don't hoop.
You know who,
You
Mars.
don't hoop. You don't hoop.
People.
You don't hoop. Anyone who hoops knows shooting is more than 3-pointers.
Yes, but when somebody
Yeah.
be
You're
like
like
this,
that.
and
You're
when
like the people in the chat. Oh,
when-
MJ couldn't
when
shoot.
somebody
He couldn't
says,
shoot
when
threes.
somebody
Like, nah,
says,
man, we ain't
when
hearing
somebody says I'm one of the best shooters ever, that directly correlates to 3-point shooting.
that. No, it correlates to
I
shooting.
don't agree
Correlates
with
to
that.
shooting.
Yeah,
Yeah, because y'all don't fucking hoop.
All right, okay, Dub.
I don't
Okay, if that's
bro,
what Dub,
nah,
if that's what you
nah,
believe,
don't-
Dub, if that's
nah,
what you
don't
believe,
bring me out
Dub,
of that. I
Dub,
definitely-
who shoots better, Lonzo Ball or Michael Jordan?
Who shoots the 3-ball better?
No. Who's a better shooter, Lonzo Ball or Michael Jordan?
I would say Lonzo because I'm thinking about 3-point shooting. Shooting as a whole totality, then I'm saying MJ. Like, what are we
All right,
talking
cool.
about? What's
Cool.
what's
We
hard
got
to
the clip,
understand?
We got the clip.
Clip
We
it,
got the
clip
clip. We
it.
got the clip. We got the clip.
Okay, cool.
We got the clip.
Like, it's not
Mike said
a
Lonzo
Lonzo
Ball
Ball's a better
better
shooter than Michael
Jordan.
Jordan.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Wasn't trying to get a
That's-
I got you
that's
moment. You're not doing much.
No,
buddy.
you just
You're not
said something dumb, and like that's fine.
That's
That's
not-
That's Dub. He would have
You
just
know
said
what I
3-point
said.
shooting.
You
He
said
Hey,
Lonzo
Dub,
Ball's
who's
a better
Dub?
shooter than MJ. Go
Yeah.
ahead. That's cool.
So-
Dub,
He
who's
didn't say
Dub?
3-point
Who's the better
shooting, he
shooter,
said
Ray
shooting in
Allen or
general.
Kevin Durant? Who's the better shooter, Ray Allen, Kevin Durant?
Hold on, wait. Somebody's fucking. Jesus Christ. Wait, let me log out of this account. It keeps getting phone calls. What you said?
Who's a better shooter, Ray Allen, Kevin Durant?
In my head, like if I'm Ray, I would say Ray Allen in my head.
Is a better shooter than Kevin Durant?
Yeah, because I'm automatically correlating that to 3-point shooting. It doesn't like I don't understand what's hard to. You know what I'm saying? Mars is just being bitchy today. I don't know.
Ray
why.
He just has a
You
different
said
definition
Lonzo
than
Ball's a
a
better
lot
shooter
of
than Michael
people.
Jordan. That's good for you, man.
That's tough.
Yeah.
KD has a
I agree.
KD has his whole totality. Sure, like as a
Lonzo,
shooter.
Lonzo a better shooter than Kobe as well.
No.
What?
No. Kobe's percentages don't do him justice, bro. I swear to fucking God.
Oh.
Gotcha.
They don't do him
This
justice.
They don't track the intangibles.
This man.
And
this
Chat's
man-
saying
this man
I'm
is
being
trash.
dense. Mars is the one being dense. I'm
You
openly
said
saying what it is.
Lonzo's a better shooter than
all-
MJ.
Mars is the one being dense right now. But what's it? I don't know. See, this is why I say Mars just has some type of fucking crazy pool with the chat. Y'all just love glazing him because y'all know exactly what I'm saying. Y'all know
Yeah,
exactly.
and it's
what I'm saying.
dumb. They're saying
Y'all
it's dumb.
And y'all
They're
glazing,
saying it's
y'all
dumb. They are
glazing
saying
this
what you're
man.
saying is
Y'all
dumb.
are
No, it
glazing
just doesn't
this
make
man.
sense when you
So
say
much.
saying
shooter, you're talking
when
about
you hear
shooting the
shooting, you
basketball.
only think about threes is dumb. That's what they're saying.
Yeah,
Because
that,
they
I don't.
know, because they ain't stupid, that shooting is more than threes.
Mars, no, that's not true, Mars.
Do a poll. We need Gabe. Do a poll. Is shooting more than threes? Yes or no? They will do 95% will
Mars,
say yes.
You're okay.
How
Mars,
did the chat say real talk be chatting? I haven't said anything.
Mars.
Nah, you said because we were having
Mars,
That's insane, man.
Mars, this is why I
Hey
say.
man, real talk, man. You be
This is,
chatting,
why,
man.
this is why I say, like, you're changing the premise of the fucking argument for some stupid reason. I agree with you. Shooting is more than that. I'm saying off of my own interpretations when I hear that word, I'm automatically thinking 3-point shooting because I grew
And
up.
chat is calling
because-
that dumb.
Okay, they can disagree.
So then
But
don't
I
say it's glazing more because they're calling what you think dumb.
I understand the premise, but when I'm sitting here, you're asking me this question, I'm automatically correlating it to 3-point shooting. Now
And
we're talking about
chat-
shooting as
And
totality.
chat thinks that is dumb.
Yeah, I don't
That's
even know
not
why
Mars
you would
glazed.
immediately
How
correlate.
They
is
are
it dumb?
saying.
How is it
they
dumb?
Then
How is
ask
it
the
dumb?
chat why
How
it's
is
dumb.
it? No. How is it dumb? How is it dumb when that's literally how the majority of people, when you go out on the streets right now,
Majority of people are dumb, Dub. That's nothing new.
No, what's the question?
I'm
What's
just
the
saying.
Dub, think about an average person and think about how stupid they are. Most people are dumb.
Stop, Mars.
That's
stop.
not good proof.
Mars, shut the fuck up.
That's
Mars.
not good
Just
proof.
Just shut up for a second.
Go.
'Cause
Okay,
you-
cool.
Okay, then shut the fuck up. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Again, what I'm saying is it can be wrong. Sure, the whole thing of me rating it like that could be wrong. I am telling y'all that that's where it correlates majority of the time because that's a lifestyle that we live. Is it a wrong lifestyle? Sure, I'm not arguing with that. You asked me, What was the prop when you said Cat being the greatest shooter? You was like, why didn't you say Joel? I said, because in my mind frame, I'm thinking about it as 3-point shooting to justify that. Now you're switching this whole debate into something that it didn't need to be because I told you that's how I thought about it. Could that thought process be wrong? Sure. You're doing way too much right now because we're talking about Cat and Joel and why I didn't have a problem. I already justified it for you, so you got cooked there, and now you're trying to get to another issue. So I don't know what's going on.
Your justification, Dub. I just want to. Dub
You
said a
asked
lot.
me-
Dub
you
said a lot.
asked me-
Dub said a lot.
you-
I'm gonna summarize what Dub said. Dub said, "I know the way I think is dumb, but it doesn't matter." That's what he just said. That's literally what he just said.
Mars. No,
That's what he just said.
Asked me.
And then he
asked-
said that was his
you literally-
justification, and that's how he clipped me because he thinks something.
You
dumb.
literally
Like,
no.
what?
You literally asked me. You asked me for my reasonings on why.
And your reasoning is dumb, and then you said, "I know it might be dumb, but that's just the way I view it." Like,
I don't even think it's that dumb. If I'm talking about shooting, majority
and that's
majority
dumb too.
of
And that's
motherfuckers
dumb too.
think
Look
it's
at him in the
three-point
goalpost.
shooting.
Goalpost
What
is
are we
flying.
talking
You ever
about?
saying it's dumb to?
No, it's
that
common.
dumb.
It's common sense. Honestly, if we're gonna be real, it's really
This
just
man
common
just
sense.
said, "I know it might be dumb, but that's just how I view
It's
it."
not even.
and that's my
it's not even-
justification. and I
No,
clipped
because
you. Huh?
this is what y'all do. Y'all, you just going off of things off of a fucking technicality. If I'm just gonna be real,
No, I'm going
off of the
what shooting is.
technicality, yes, shooting is all of these broad things, but mid-range shooting, post shooting, all of these aspects. But majority of time when we're talking about shooting, it's almost like playmaking, right? People have different definitions of playmaking. It is what it is.
Yeah,
So
the
you
right
mad about
definition and the
somebody's
wrong
different-
definition, Yeah,
You said what?
the right definition and the wrong definition.
That's
yes.
according to you. That's according to you.
No, it's according to the definition of the word shooting.
No.
Yeah,
I disagree with you, Dub, but I can see where you're coming from.
People,
Yeah,
people-
where Dub's coming from is the majority of people
people-
view shooting as threes.
people-
when
no,
the
no,
majority of people are also dumb.
people. No. People make up different. You done it. Everyone does it. They make up different fucking definitions for words all the time. So you to act as if that doesn't happen is just fucking stupid, Mars. You know that's.
No, I never said it doesn't happen. I said when it happens, it's dumb.
The problem
You
here
change
is
your
that
definitions too, Mars.
the problem
Shooting
here
has
is-
one definition. It's shooting the ball. That's the definition of shooting. That's
but-
literally it. Shooting. I view it
But
as
do-
3-point shooting. That's
because-
clearly a whole
but
different
do-
category.
No, because due to what's that word called when it's like popularized or what's that word? I forget the word. It's like the general way of speaking.
The consensus?
Not even consensus. It's like
Consensus sounds like it fits.
it could be this
Yeah.
consensus.
Yeah, it does sound like.
It does sound like it
Yeah.
is.
We can
Mo,
move
do
on.
you
Lowe's
feel
here
like
to talk-
do
Lowe's
you
here
feel
to
like
talk about
chatting as well?
accolades.
Do you feel
Loki
like
just
chatting
said-
as well?
Before
'Cause
Lowe goes
we've
on
been
whatever he has to
chatting.
say. Lowe, who shoots better, Alonzo Ball or Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
Okay, thank you.
And when
Yeah,
you
but
get
that's
shooting, what do you
but
think
that's
of when you
that's
hit
low.
shooting?
That's
Shooting.
low.
Yeah, because
That's
Lowe's not being
low.
dumb. Because Lowe's not being dumb.
Because like I said, Mars, what it is like we change up definitions all the time and make words mean something when it has nothing to relate to it whatsoever. We
Yeah,
do
that's
that
not-
literally.
that's not the case
No,
for
we
shooting.
literally do that every single day. And in shooting,
not the
there's
case
people
for
that directly correlate that with 3-point shooting. I don't see why there's such a big problem.
And like I said, that is dumb. I never said people don't do that.
No, do you
I've
think?
not one
watch
time
this. Watch
said
this.
people
Watch
don't
this.
do that.
When I say a chick is bad, right? Do you think it's dumb for me to call a chick bad?
Because that's slang, though.
Okay, I'm just saying. No, I'm saying
Shooting is not slang.
No, stop, Mars. Oh my God, you're not listening. We change definitions all the time.
I'm not
Mars.
listening.
No, I don't think we changed
That's the
definition.
point.
Oh,
That's the
man.
point.
When
We
people are
change.
shooting
We change.
three-pointers-
We change definitions to what we think it should be. That's what we do all the time, Mars.
And you doing that for shooting in the way you did is dumb.
I don't
I
even
never
We
said no
got
one
here
changed
over
definitions.
cat versus.
I've never
not
said
gonna
no
lie.
one's ever changed
I'm not gonna hold
definitions.
you. I'm not
I've
gonna
never
hold you.
said people don't view shooting as just threes. All I said was when they do that for shooting, it is dumb. And you said, I know it might be dumb, but that's what most people do.
I'm saying,
and I said that's still dumb.
No, because you're arguing off of a fucking technicality.
No, I'm arguing off what shooting is.
No, again, technicality, because that's what technicality is.
I think when I ask the question of who's the better shooter, I think the technicality of what shooting is pretty relevant.
Common sense,
in my opinion.
Use common sense.
In my opinion. I'm sorry. My bad, chat. I'm sorry for saying the definition of shooting is relevant in a question of who's the better shooter.
If we was
my bad, chat. I
swear to God, Mars, if we was in the same
chat,
I would have slapped the shit out of you already. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Damn.
Wow.
A lot of violence on Mars.
This is the shit.
I didn't paint Dub as someone so sensitive, man.
Nah, it ain't even.
Damn, I didn't know you were like that, man.
It's not even sensitive.
That's tough, man. I didn't know you were that sensitive,
but some people just need to get slapped up. I'm not even.
I know you were that sensitive. I know you were that sensitive.
That shit.
Man. Chat, beware when Dub makes terrible takes and you cook him, he gets a bit emotional. Just be careful,
bro. This dude talk.
When Dub says Lonzo Ball's a better shooter than MJ, and you cook him, he might want to beat you up afterwards.
Open Jim Beats.
Be careful, chat. Be careful. Don't come up here with too much smoke.
This don't even. Bro, stop, bro. Like again, you're being dense for no reason. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The irony is crazy. I'm the one being dense. Okay. Lonzo Ball's a better shooter than MJ.
Oh, bro, I'm not.
Towns is a better shooter than Embiid, though.
I'm not gonna hold you.
Duh.
Yeah,
we got here because of an Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns. See, that's why you don't answer dumb questions. That's why I've been on mute, because you go down rabbit holes.
Real talk, you're forgetting the problem that started all of this. Dub's trash title. If this title wasn't about Cat, we wouldn't have had that question.
Oh my God! Here you go, bitching again.
Blame Dub.
Here you go, bitching again.
The reason Dub wants to slap me is because his title was terrible. To the question that got him cooked.
I tell you all the time. I tell you all the time.
Blame Dub.
Stop.
Blame Dub, man. L-Dub.
I tell you
all
the
L-Dubs
time,
in the chat. L-Dub. L-Dub.
See, this is shit I be talking about, bro.
L-Dub, man. L-Dub. Oh my God.
This trolling shit, bro. Oh my God.
It is peak trolling.
It's peak trolling.
Look, you said you wanted to come in and talk about why accolades are pointless. The floor is yours. We might have to change the title as well because this is terrible. So we might have to change it for accolades.
Dog, this is peak trolling, dog. This is peak.
I know it's peak trolling, and that's why I just want to slap the shit out of him. I'm not gonna hold it. Because it's like he's not even having an honest dialogue right here, bro. And that's for the God, bro.
Yeah, you said Lonzo's the better shooter than MJ. You ain't having an honest dialogue, buddy.
See, this is why people who
see,
really
this is
don't.
The thing. Dub can't take a loss.
This is why.
Still going.
This is why people. No. Wait. This is
but
why
he still has to talk because he wants to try and get his get back. Like you lost, just take the L, move on. Let them talk.
If y'all notice, people who don't even go outside to play ball is the main.
We're venting today. We're venting.
I swear to fucking God.
People take it up with your therapist. The chat don't want to hear about your grievances. Take it up with your therapist.
People who don't.
We don't care that you're upset because I don't leave my house and I still cook.
Yes. No,
we don't care. We don't care.
No, bro, because this is that nerd shit I be fucking talking about, bro. You're a nerd. You're a fucking nerd.
Oh, I'm a nerd. Wow.
If you're
upset, what are we doing right now?
Take up your therapist. Go see what the issue is and why you want to go slap a nerd. That's on you, Dub. You might have a few mental deficiencies you might want to get checked out. Because that's a bit concerning. That's a bit concerning. Lo, what is your grievance with accolades?
Nerds need to get slapped.
What is your grievance with accolades?
You gotta grow up, bro. You gotta grow up. Oh my God.
Grow up? You're the one threatening violence.
That's what grown people do. Violence happens with grown folk. I mean, that's just the world we live in.
Dumb ones, yes. Dumb ones.
I don't agree.
Yes.
No, that's a fact, Riddell. I mean, that's just the world we live in.
Yes. The real world.
We don't solve grievances.
All you've done in the last 10 minutes is prove that you're part of the majority of population.
Yes, I live in the real world.
That's what
I live in the real world.
Yes, you live amongst the dumb people.
Oh my God.
Congratulations.
Go
ahead, Dub.
I had to remove both of them, man. I had to get them in the timeout, man. I had to.
Lo got the power.
Okay, Lo, go ahead. What's wrong with accolades?
Oh man! First of all, hey, how y'all doing, man? Great day, man. Great day.
Would W Low be wow?
What?
Oh, go ahead, Lo.
Go
ahead, Lo.
Would a W Low be wild? No, I think So first of all, this is not a Mars take. I've thought about this for a while. So there's things I've already established in my mind. I just didn't know the severity of how it was. And so
It's okay
I was
for it to be
looking.
a Mars take. It's okay.
No. Yo, I think accolades. I think gauging players, so especially solely off of accolades, is a dumb way to just look at basketball. Especially when we know for a fact how the accolades are handed out and how it's not just based off of skill, talent. A lot of accolades are just based off of team success. So there's just no way that, or even if you play just as well as someone else, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to receive the same accolades as them if you're on a bad team.
Nate Dogg, my bad. Nate Dogg, you don't know who the fuck I am, bro. I'll slap the shit out of you too, bro. If we gonna be honest.
Look how emotional he is.
I swear to God.
This is worse than when Fluent beat him. This is worse than when Fluent beat him.
No, I need people to understand that. Like, it's not even just Mars thing. Mars is just being very immature right now. But I'll definitely slap the shit out.
No, carry on. Dub just derailed the whole conversation for no reason.
Go ahead, Lo.
And
if you taller than me, best believe I'm gonna grab something too. But go ahead, Lo. Go ahead.
Now he's gay. Look at what happened to him.
That was a while. Grab something,
bro.
You know what I mean. I'm not gonna say it online.
Yeah, we get you.
So I just don't. Yeah, I think accolades are just heavily skewed. It doesn't always give us the accurate depiction, and I tend to look at MVP votes because I think some people, I don't think Mars is the first person I've heard do it, but like I think MVP votes are a much better depiction of like who's the best player on a year-to-year basis. But even then, it's kind of flawed. Obviously, narratives and what people deem as valuable will fluctuate on a year-to-year basis, depending on how good you may be in contrast to your team success. So that's also kind of up in the air. But I just feel like sitting there saying that, like Bird has 3 MVPs, especially in a row, and somehow like that right there is a talking point to why he should be a top 10 player. And it's like, well, not only does everybody in the top 10 have at bare minimum a MVP, but I don't think that anyone would sit here and believe that, Kobe's 1 MVP is an accurate depiction of who he is as a ball player. And I would argue everybody in the top 10 have had 3 consecutive MVP seasons in a row. So that's also like, it's just not like, it doesn't give you an accurate depiction. And I think it's way better to just look at the play, look at how they impacted, what they did in contrast to the rest of the league, not necessarily winning an MVP or making all defensive team or all NBA selection. Especially the people because I saw the same thing with Curry and Magic, like, oh man, Magic made more first team all NBAs. And it's like, yeah, but he played in an era where like there were no other all-time guards throughout the 80s outside of him and towards I guess Isaiah Thomas, but I think even then Isaiah Thomas at his best isn't as good as like Russell Westbrook and James Harden at their best. So then it's like that doesn't necessarily mean that because Magic made more first team all NBAs in contrast to
you
Curry.
said Isaiah Thomas is at his peak is not as good as Russell Westbrook. I just want
to
he's not.
That's a whole. We've had that discussion on Open Gym a few weeks ago. Also, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure all NBAs and all defense in the 80s was position locked. Like it was point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center.
I think a lot of voters voted that way, but I don't think it was like officially position lock. If that makes sense.
Okay, it wasn't like a rule, but it was like they tried.
Yeah, they just tried to.
Okay.
And so, but that'll be another reason to why like Curry is not only going up against like I think voters have been more open with the idea of voting, obviously 2 shooting guards if that's what it actually is, or 2 point guards if that's what that means, are the 2 best guards, and then as we know like players like Jimmy Butler get the ability to present themselves as guards and forwards. So like the game has just changed and voting has changed as well. That's another reason why. But I mean, I obviously like. Patrick Ewing, I think Patrick Ewing has like, and this is the reason why I know Mars is the first person to bring it up because I've labeled it as like the Patrick Ewing problem, where like, there's a year where I think in '94 Patrick Ewing finished top 5 in the MVP race, but he didn't make an All NBA team because he's competing against Shaq, David Robinson, and Hakeem Olajuwon. So things like that, like obviously like.
So what are you? Well, Lo, what are you judging off of? Because I hear what you say, like watching it. And seeing the impact, to me that sounds real eye test like, So what exactly are you using? Any kind of metrics, or are you saying statistics are a better way of what is the determining factor for you then?
Or are you just saying like should it be
I didn't even know
accolades,
Domo
or
was
you should look at
backstage.
accolades, but you should take the context in them?
Big
That's
bird.
because at the end of the day, I'm
What's going on right now?
having
The fact that
This
he
show-
actually
this-
looked
this
like
show's
that
all over
nigga
the
is
place.
hilarious.
This is a rated R show today. I'm not gonna hold you. Go ahead, Damo. Do your thing, bro.
Dub, take like 5 minutes. Take just 5 minutes.
We got a
Dub.
whole row.
Dom
We
was
got a whole
bringing it
row of
in.
lows. Look at it.
All right.
No,
Excellent
real talk. I
content.
grew up with a brother,
Whole
bro.
row of lows.
I grew up with a brother. We had arguments like this all the time, bro. We had fights all the time.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I
I
think
trust me.
Trust
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
It'll probably like 2 or 3 minutes is probably gonna be. Not
Yeah,
even gonna be
that's how it be.
But go ahead, Lo. What
Go ahead.
was your answer to that question though?
How do I determine essentially like the impact of a player? Intellect. No. No, I think that you can just like look across NBA history and see what the standard is for like an all NBA caliber player is, and especially in contrast to what's happening in the league. And so there's years where Ewing is averaging like borderline 25, 10, and 3, and he doesn't make an all NBA team. But I think anybody would like any like brain would easily identify that if a man is giving you 25 and 10 on above league average efficiency while being an elite level defender, that checks off like all of the boxes for.
I mean, you can say that for AD this year. AD didn't make a All NBA team.
I agree, but so it would be crazy if we don't. I mean, I guess AD because of games played.
But still, that level of play, he was
exactly. So it would be crazy to not identify Anthony Davis as an All NBA caliber player just because he didn't make an All NBA team. If that makes sense.
So you're saying,
but again, I'm asking, is it a combination of things? Is it statistics, eye tests?
I mean, the more you can watch, the better. But I mean, yeah, obviously, like if there's some level of statistics that come along with it, like if somebody is like one of the league's best scorers, while also providing also above league average, also a great defender, like those two combinations alone normally is enough for that to be like that is enough to know.
It's good to watch you turn into an eye test, nigga, Lo. I'm actually.
Oh my god!
It's actually amazing. I'm like into tears just watching.
The more I watch Steve Nash, the more I think he's just better offensively than Kobe.
Oh my god!
No, I want to get something clear. I want to get something clear from you. So you're not? It sounds like you're not going as far as like Mars, where you say accolades have no value, but you think they should definitely be used with the proper context and determining their value for a specific player. Using them as blanket statements to say someone is better is just inappropriate. Does that sound right?
No idea. They don't have that much value. I mean, they have value, I guess, but they don't have that much value. I think they can
He'll be on the right side soon.
They'll give you some indication of like what's going on a year-to-year basis, but like they're not going to be like very clear indicators. They're not going to be end-all be-alls to like why. You know what I'm saying? Like why?
Right. You can add the context because they still hold a benchmark of a caliber of player. Because MVP caliber is a thing, obviously, but you need to know those players that are at that level to kind of judge them appropriately. You need the context. But so they hold a value. So I think they do hold a value, but you're just saying that just using it blanketly is just, hey, man.
Well, that, but then also like, I remember we was like maybe a week ago, we were talking about like all defensive teams as a forwards. And then we were like looking at like who's Larry Bird's competition was. And I'm just looking at these players. I'm like, bro, not only do I not know any of these players, they're not on some of the league's best defenses. They're like, there's nothing that would indicate so they don't lead the league in like any defensive statistics. There's nothing that indicates to me that those players defensively are even anywhere near close to like Bruce Bowen, Tim Duncan, Ron Artest. Like there's like absolutely nothing. And so when we're having this conversation about like, oh, Larry Bird made all like 3 all defensive teams, there is a very realistic possibility that if he just played in a different era, that he probably didn't. And there's a possibility that, and I have to just watch more Larry, that he might not have ever played at an all defensive league level. He just made the team because the era was so weak at the 4 position defensively. That is a very real possibility. The same way that I don't think DeAndre Jordan ever played at an All-NBA level.
Yeah.
He made the All-NBA team because he played in an era where they're like defensively, like not defensively, the center position was so trash that he could make all defensive team. All NBA team. But I don't think he as a player ever played at that level. But like when I go back and relook at it, like him making it, and people gonna be upset at me, but like even like Marc Gasol making it some of those years, I'm like,
Rudy Gobert,
not Gasol.
Oh, and Joakim Noah as well. Like I don't know if those players are like out of 99% in NBA history, like they don't make an All-NBA team, but they can make it within like between 2010 and 2015. But I don't think that by default that means that they're just as good as some of these other players.
Could you argue
I mean, they may not be.
So you think that was a weak era or a big man?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nah, that's disrespectful, man. You can't.
Look, I know. Let me be clear. I think between 2010 and 2015 is a weak era. Period. I think it's a weak stretch of 5-6 years.
I agree.
I think that's just a weak era.
Period.
Now, with people, that's not a Mars take. I've already made a whole video on that, so that's he probably got that from me. But
fraudulent rings for LeBron.
Even Low has to fight Mars minions on this channel. It's
like that. It's like that. No, but Low, everything you said about accolades is correct. You explained it well. It's correct. Only thing I push back, I think accolades are accurate in depicting where you rank in your era. You know what I mean? So you could say for the era they played in, well, let's just say Larry Bird was an elite player per the era that Kobe's going to be elite, wherever. But there's certain players I think there's no 8-time All-NBA caliber player that's going to be a bad player.
Can I ask
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
era. Let me ask you. Go ahead. So if somebody makes an All-NBA team, what type of ranking is that? Describe that ranking.
So I think if you make multiple All-NBA teams, so if you're a 5-6-time All-NBA, I think you're a Hall of Fame caliber player.
Let me just see how many moderations.
No, 5, 6 times.
That's it. He's only made 3. Okay.
Any other?
Let's say 8. Let's say 8.
Seven is 7, 8.
But how many of those All-NBAs include first team? How many of those All-NBAs include first team?
I mean, sure.
Tracy, I think Tracy only had like 1 or 2, and he still made the team.
Yeah, but I mean that's also about who you're going up against.
So that's the point. Because you said
Tracy was going against like LeBron and Kobe because he was seasons. No. Some seasons he was listed as a guard. Some seasons he was listed as 4.
So let me ask. Okay, let me be a bit more specific. If somebody makes when Larry Bird makes first team All NBA, what does that mean? What is the ranking in 86? What does that mean?
If you make first team All NBA, you're definitely a top 10 player. Probably a top 5 player.
No, Devin Booker made first.
I do it. But
and what you just did,
DeAndre Jordan was first team before.
And what you did is the reason why it shouldn't matter, or if it does matter, just get the depiction correct. When somebody makes a first team All NBA, it just means that they are the best forward or one of the 2 best forwards that year. It means they're one of the 2 best guards that year and one of the best centers that year. That's all that means at most. It does not mean that they are a top 5 or top 10 player, because by that logic, Jokic this year was not a top 5 player because he didn't make a first team All NBA, and none of us would believe that, right?
I hear you,
so,
100%.
So it does not mean that you're top 5, but many people describe it like you, and that's the reason why Mars goes on and says that it just doesn't matter, period, because y'all are not depicting it correctly. But even then, again, Jokic was not the second. He wasn't the second best center this year. Right, let's just be honest.
No, he was the best center. Yeah, he was the best center this year.
But even these years are kind of anomaly. But just get it correct. It doesn't mean that you're a top 5 or top 10 player. It just means that you are the best at your position or your guard forward center. That's what.
Okay, but when you have players that repeatedly come in, like when they're repeatedly first team, second team, right? Maybe a year at third team. I mean, when we start talking about like the top 10 players, I mean, a lot of those guys do have a lot of first team All NBAs, a lot of, second team All NBAs or what have you. So I know like we do this thing, but hold on, look, we do this thing to like, we try to like 100% prove something. So like you can, of course, nothing is 100%. So yes, we can pick seasons like AD not being All NBA this year, Julius Randle making it this year. But when it's not a coincidence that like Kobe, LeBron, Hakeem, Duncan, all these players are like 10 plus time first team All NBA.
I agree with that, but do you think that because Ewing I think only made first team All NBA one time, right?
If Ewing played in this era, he'd be like
I'm gonna say, do you not think that Ewing a more accurate depiction of Ewing would probably be like he was probably one of the top 5 to 7 players, but if he's consistently making second or third teams, that may not be the most, or some in a year not even making it. Those are not like there's more years of him not making first team than there are years of him being third and not making the All-NBA team.
And what I'm saying is that, yes, of course, there are going to be situations like that. But again, the people that repeatedly make these first, second teams, I think there are more, they get it right more or less than they get it wrong. So I'm saying if you have people, like I said, the top 10s that are repeatedly first team All-NBA, they just also so happen to be the greatest players of their time and the greatest players of all time.
Do you think Curry is a top 10 player, or at least has a conversation?
And again, you're doing like 100% proof thing. No,
I'm just asking. Okay, Curry only has 4 first team All NBA. So you think that's
right? So he would be. But okay, but wait, stop. But again, you're picking one play. What about the rest of the 10? The rest of the 10 in there aren't they? So again, it's more right than wrong, is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that, but the problem is that then when we get to some of these players, like people have been doing over the past week with Curry and Magic, they then just sit here and say, "Oh, he made it 4 times, he made it 9, and that's why he's better." And it's like that can't
be the separating.
Curry didn't make some All-NBA first due to being like injured in 2018 and 2020 just didn't play. So there's
I agree. I agree. It's not just such and such made first team more time, so they're better. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm also saying that if you just say they don't matter, when more times than not, they're the people that are first team All NBA consecutively are the best players of their time and all time, then it has to mean something.
But
that all of them are consecutively.
Yeah, that's fair. But you could argue practically every single player in the top 10 has accolades that they either received or did not receive that does not give an accurate depiction of who they are. Kobe is not an 18-time All-Star. He's just not. He's not.
And all defensive teams.
You can put context to those. Like people,
but that's my point. That's my point. Is that these contexts are necessary, but when you start to understand the necessity of these contexts, then the value of the awards start to dwindle. So Tim Duncan.
Let's say he's actually a 16-time or 15-time. I mean.
I think his last 3 are kind of
again. We're talking about them getting it right 15 of the 16 years, or 15, 16 years, and being wrong 3 years.
I get that, but nobody doesn't go on TV or have these conversations and say Kobe is technically a 14-time or 15-time All-Star. They just say he's 18 to boost it up. When we all know they're like, 18 is not. That's not an accurate depiction of like who Kobe was as a player. That's just not. Like nobody's out of their way.
A lot of all-time greats got a little gas and deservedly so.
Look at him saying
the Glade. But even Kobe said himself during that season, he said,
"That was just for you, Morris. Just for you, buddy."
A lot of star players make all-star teams at the end of their career when they don't deserve it a lot of the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, making more or less arguments based off like one or two one of these awards is just not a right way to determine who's a better player, which is the important thing to consider here. Because like Lo was talking about, there's so much context. There's so much times throughout history where we can see a player like DeAndre Jordan in comparison to so many other centers throughout the league. The fact that he has all NBA selection doesn't make him better than other centers just because he has that one award or accolade. So the context is the most important part here.
But also the context is of their time though. So again, what Lo is saying, when DeAndre Jordan was all NBA What year?
3 times.
Like 3 or
He's
4
made it
What years?
2016.
Okay, so but we've already acknowledged that it was a weak span of years for centers. So what center in 2016 or whatever is better? Not all time, but in that year, who was better?
I get that, but then if these conversations were kept relatively, then maybe we would get it more accurate. But we all know that people are gauging players across different eras and looking at their basketball reference page and then coming to the conclusion based off of what they see at the top of the basketball reference page instead of actually putting it into context. So people don't go into further detail. Like I had some moron on TikTok tell me about Larry Bird and the things that he did. And I'm like, bro, you just went on his basketball reference page and just read off. You didn't actually go into any details about what happened on that specific year, what his competition to gauge it against other players. You just didn't. And so, yes, it would be easier for Bird to be 3-time all-league defensive team. Not to say he was a terrible defender, but it would be easy for him to do that in that era. Because if he played in this era or he played in the 2000s, he probably would not make it. Now, if he doesn't make it, all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, I guess he's a bad. But that must mean I'm calling him a bad defender because I don't think he will make an all defensive team. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he played a different era with better defenders. He probably wouldn't make it because as good as he may have been, he was not on the level of defensively as Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett and Ron Artest and Bruce Bowen. He just wasn't.
Yeah.
And you're right. 50 years from now, 25-year-olds who are going to have this debate who've never seen DeAndre Jordan play are going to go look and see those all-NBA teams and are going to put him at a level that's higher than it needs to be. Same thing kind of happened, I think, with the game. Moses Malone, the 3 MVPs. I was a prisoner of that too. You see the 3 MVPs, even if you've only seen 3-4 games, like, oh, damn, 3 MVPs at a historic level, he has to be a certain caliber of player. So I
think I don't understand.
Are you hating on Moses Malone right now?
The greatest rebounding center ever?
No, I would say the 3 MVPs give a very different picture versus start watching the games or even like John Havlicek. Like, how many people have really seen, other than Low, Mars, maybe Dub up here, have seen more than 8 full games of John Havlicek?
Leave Dub out.
Other than Low and Mars, who has seen in this chat? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but who in this chat has seen more than 8 full games of John Havlicek?
8 is crazy.
But he's 8-0. What are we talking?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So because of his accolades, you see the All NBA teams, or whatever the case be, championship.
And for his time, was he not that good though? Or?
No, he was. No, John Havlicek was. And before Dub goes again to real talk point, if we kept it relative, then I probably wouldn't have that much of a problem. The problem is that also when we have these awards conversations, that people pick and choose when they actually want to care about the awards. So John Havlicek is a perfect example where if you think highly of Scottie Pippen, by default, you would have to think highly of John Havlicek. Because by default, if you just sit here and just run off the accolades, Havlicek is more accomplished than Scottie
Why do you have to do that though? Not if you're informed. I think you're right if you're saying blindly doing that. Yes, but if you're informed about the era and you know that what you're saying, it was harder for Scottie to be All NBA than John Havlicek to be All NBA, then no, I don't have to just go off the blind.
But that's my point though. These people aren't though. That's what I'm saying. The people who just blindly they don't care about which one was more difficult and they put in a context on a year to year. They don't do that. If you're just sitting here just saying the resume, that means that Havlicek would have to be above Scottie Pippen. If that's how you speak basketball, he would have to be. But then when I sit there and bring that up, oh no, I don't know.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me why people don't like. I don't watch him like that. I'm not going to cap. But it doesn't make sense to me why a guy who was probably he was the leading scorer of his crew for like a good portion of his career, right, in the second half.
Yeah, he was.
Leading scorer of his crew, being the main option, and then all the achievements he had. It doesn't make sense to me how a guy in Havlicek and people who love the winning and shit like that, him being the main guy to a winning crew, it doesn't make sense to me how he's not better than Scottie. It's according to those people's criteria. Like, that really doesn't make sense.
People,
they probably just punished him because of the era he played in.
And then on
punish Kareem.
Punish Kareem, and you know what? And that's what gets
Jordan Havlicek beat Kareem in the finals. Like,
that's what gets me, and nobody talks about it. No, that's what gets me mad about people in general. And when I be air attacking people, y'all air attacks tons of people. Y'all air attacks Everybody, if we're going to be honest. John Havlicek is a great example of that. Bob Cousy, all of these guys. The thing is, which I just don't agree with, y'all just don't do it for the guys who are the best of the best in that era, as if that doesn't apply to them as well. I'm sorry. I'm going to take into consideration the comp in which you went up in your era. And if that comp is weak, guess what? Those players are getting knocked down as well. Another thing I want to...
But they do it, though. But they only do it to this era. Because nobody ever would sit here and say that Rudy Gobert is as good as a defender as like Dikembe and them, even though if you just look at the accolades speaking, he's on par with them. He has just as many all defensive team as many of them, either just as many, if not more, DPOIs. But everybody in their right mind knows that you would never call Rudy Gobert as good as a defender as some of those other players throughout the 80s and 90s. But if you talk about just strictly accolades, he would be. And if you bring that up to people, then it'll be, oh, well, now look at the era he put. And then they all
he's overrated.
Now he's air attacks. But
I
now
think they don't like him
if my air
of the
attacks that
playoffs.
trash ass team in that trash ass era in the 60s and 70s, I'm the bad guy.
Problem. Yeah.
The 60s.
And
That's with Rudy. I feel like it's what happened with the Clippers series. I feel like that's why people.
Of course, that's the main.
And then I'm the bad guy. And then I'm the bad guy for air attacks and most of you niggas go.
Oh, wait.
Then I'm the bad guy.
The funny thing is, right, from the one, this is why I get so much hate. Because instead of just picking and choosing who I'm going to fucking favor, I'm just say, fuck it. I'm going to just air attacks everybody. Because it's not fair to do that for some people, not everybody. The lack of consistency that people show.
Mars, that's a nasty
all
highlight.
All players doesn't make sense to me. And then Jalen
I ain't gonna lie. That wasn't even me. Someone else hating on Dub. That wasn't me.
No, I highlighted.
See, Dub hating on himself.
Yes, for sure. Jalen and Real Talk. What doesn't make sense to me about accolades, we literally have debates all the time about who was getting snubbed, who didn't deserve All NBA, who didn't deserve defense. We do this damn near we've been doing this for 3 to 4 years now when we've been talking basketball. So to sit here and think that shit wasn't happening back then where they were getting shit wrong, I mean, that's kind of weird to me. Look at ourselves as examples. We do this every single year saying that they got some bullshit wrong all the time where we could change the list around. So to act as if that didn't happen back then, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's like a Mars on a perk.
No, 100%.
Yeah, there's definitely a few exceptions.
I guess Mars been dabbing for a whole couple weeks now.
Yeah, it's been a new thing.
I think there's also something to be said that when it comes to comparing certain players,
because of him.
People obviously gravitate to people they know. So like Scottie Pippen associated with Michael Jordan, everybody knows who Scottie Pippen is, but nobody really knows who John Havlicek is if you're like a casual NBA fan, just in general. So at that time, like unless you put it in their face, they're never going to bring him up in a conversation. The moment you bring it up, it's like, I don't know who this guy is. He's probably not that good. So that's a big problem with a lot of NBA conversations as well.
It's just about having, like I said, it's about having the time to watch the games and put in the time to watch those games. Most people aren't going to go back to the 70s, 80s, even today, like the demographic right now on PC, like most people are going to know predominantly 2000s on. Even the 90s, they're going to have to go look back and they'll watch the 90s because of Jordan and the big names, you know what I mean? They're still there. But other than that, pushing back 80s, 70s, 60s, people aren't watching enough games. Like to watch, like what's the sample size of the games you really need to understand a player? Like if you want to go really understand.
No, you know it's so funny.
Yeah, you can just watch.
You can tell like 1%.
That's what I'm saying. See,
just watch one.
I don't think you need to
one
watch it.
dribble. That's all you need. Jalen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. All you have to do is just if you watch one quarter and they don't dribble with their offhand one time,
you can say that.
You know, come on.
Just one game of Steve Nash, you're gonna be moved. You're gonna be moved watching Steve Nash, bro.
The fact of the matter about accolades is that it's, singular awards are going to leave a lot of qualified people out from winning them. So, I mean, to me, it is better to look at, instead of MVP caliber seasons, instead of first team all NBA, maybe first team all NBA caliber seasons, things of that nature. But I mean, exclusivity is going to be there with an award because somebody has to win, which means a lot of people have to lose. Like,
yeah, it's only benchmark, 100%.
But what people do, they knock guys. They unconsciously knock guys when they're having conversation with people because if they're not making some All NBA teams or All NBA teams, they'll just sit here and compare the stats and be like, "Oh, this guy was this amount of all-league performer and all-league defender. He got to be better than this guy." Which I mean, that's stupid. So I get your point because
he can't be top 10 because he only has one MVP.
Exactly. Look at that.
Was
that chill? Was that chill?
No, it's not true. I'm just like, why?
No, you do know people like that. Yeah, there are a lot of people like that.
For example, Shaquille O'Neal, right? I'm pretty sure if Shaquille O'Neal played in not in that era of the 90s, he would have had more All-NBA defensive teams. The issue is he was facing Ewing, Robinson, Hakeem. Who else was winning it back then?
Stephen Curry,
Lonzo,
and then later on Ben Wallace and
Ben Wallace. But then at that time he's not. People shit on him for being late.
04? Respect 04.
People
defense in 04.
Not an 04, not an 04. But
what Dub is saying is right though. You're absolutely
people shit on Shaq's defense. He's a lazy defender. This, that, and his talking points. Even though he was actually a pretty good defender, but then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was a lazy defender as well, who sat here just similar to Shaquille O'Neal, just because he made all these All-NBA defensive teams.
You got to get that hate out your heart.
You just want to talk about Shaq's defense.
You got to get that hate out your heart.
That's a fact, though. That's a fact. Kareem was a lazy defender, and nobody talks about it. That's a fact, bro.
He's just always at the tip of the tongue, like, gee, like.
I know. But Kareem
it's because Kareem is universally regarded as a top.
Did you catch him on a bad game, though?
And it's because of the All-NBA defensive selection.
How many does he have? He has like 11, right?
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot.
The perfect example based off recent hate.
Bill Walton for a couple years.
Was kept out of a lot of conversation.
Nate
Stephen Curry in the finals.
Nate Thurman in the early.
Nobody wanted to get
Wilt Chamberlain in the early
MVP.
My bad.
That is also true. What he said about the Finals MVP.
But most people, even back then, would still call Steph the best player in the Warriors, even though he didn't have a Finals.
Oh yeah, people were saying Steph couldn't be top 10 without a Finals MVP.
Yeah, that's like
because he's now got one. I forgot about those terrible conversations.
I ain't gonna lie, I was definitely one of them. I was on that no Finals.
Yeah, but Jalen, you low key hate Steph as well. Like I've been peeping you. You hate.
He don't like Steph because
he's a LeBron fan. Why would he like Steph?
Nah, he dislikes Steph. He dislikes.
No, answer me a question, right? Who was Kareem competing against for the All-NBA defensive?
Kareem,
Wes Unseld, Willis Reed for a couple years, Bill Walton.
The problem with Kareem is that and it's just him as a player, or that era, is that like nobody was sustaining anything longer than for like 5 or 7 years outside of Kareem. So Willis Reed has like five really good years and he fell off. Bill Walton falls off. McAdoo falls off. Thurman and Wilt are already older, so then they're not going to sustain anything for any long periods of time. So he can just squeeze in off of the fact that like players are getting older or they just get injured and then now there's a vacant spot available.
McAdoo was never playing defense anyway. But
I'm just talking about like all those conversations. It was just he just
shout out Kareem for staying healthy.
Curry did need to win that Finals MVP in 2022.
Let me ask you this: do you think that
he did need to win that Finals MVP in 2022? He did not need.
He did not.
He needed to. I mean, he needed to win it for what? He needed to win it for what?
When I look at Finals MVPs, when I like look at your team, it's understandable if your team wins and you didn't win it. You know, like playing with KD, cool. That's Kevin Durant. Magic and Kareem, Magic, even James to a certain extent. But I feel like Curry was just like so clearly the best player on the team, and nobody else on that team was like particularly close to his level of play. That like Kobe in 09 and 10 needed to win those. Like he needed to win those, and Steph needed to win that in 2022.
If he got robbed, like would that you hold that against Steph?
I mean,
yes, he would.
If he gets robbed,
yeah,
this is about knowing. Yeah. And I know you're gonna. Are you gonna refer to like Andre Iguodala and
no?
robbed?
It's not even an example. Are you saying he needed to win it in 2022? Let's say he played the exact same way. And for whatever God knows reason, they said, you know what, Andrew Wiggins' defense on Jason Tatum and his game 5 where he scored like 29 and Steph missed a bunch of threes.
No, but me watching Steph
and they
play,
gave it to Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
Would you then be like, would you hold that against Steph, or you be like, oh, he got robbed? Like, what are we doing?
No, I would have said he got robbed because I did watch Steph clearly be the best player on the court. So
I
yeah.
don't think he needed the finals
What if he
MVP.
played
You're
great?
saying
But again, wait,
the best player in the series. I agree.
I understand that. I understand that. But again, this is the absolute 100 thing. More times than not, when you are clearly the best player on the court in a final series, you get finals MVP. Can we go to situations? Yeah, bruh. Can we go to situations where yes, people do get robbed? Yes, but I'm saying more times than not, when you are the best player, you get the award. That is a fact.
Okay, let's go through history. Okay,
I'm sorry. Clearly, yes, they have clearly determined that to give it to the winning team.
We'll see how many times we agree with the finals.
You mean the best player on the winning team?
Yeah. I'm saying clearly they have made that an underlying right.
Right,
rule
I agree with that, but Steph unfortunately is part of that exception, and unfortunately because they got it wrong in 2015, now all of a sudden people are making it seem like that is an accurate depiction of him as a player, as if
There's
like
still
he's never
people who
played.
believe Iguodala deserved it.
Yeah, and people act as if like he didn't play at all at an MVP caliber level.
I read the person
in the finals in 2015. He had already done that. Curry had played better than, if we're gonna be honest with ourselves, Curry played better than Dirk did in the 2011 finals in 2015.
He clearly played better.
But nobody. If I say that, y'all, they're like, oh, I don't know.
Are you talking about in Boston or well, I actually both series.
No, 2015 against
2015.
Both.
He did.
Dirk was allegedly injured. You can say allegedly injured.
Dirk did not play well in that finals. Y'all just love
he
sucking
played-
that up
he
because
played-
he
played well.
He played well. He played well.
Well,
Great.
Oh my,
Especially
you know
great
what
in
I
the-
mean.
in the-
You
in
know
the-
what
in the-
I mean.
injury.
You know what I mean. He did not play that well. I'm not
Dirk-
going to change it up. He did not play well. It was in the fourth quarters. The fourth quarters, I don't know what the fuck. The man just turned
He
into
just turned it on.
MJ,
Yeah, I don't know.
and he was
Hey,
just
fourth
cooking in
quarters
the
moved
fourth
me,
quarter
bro.
for damn near majority
Yeah,
of the
but
games.
that's the worst part. Steph scored the most fourth quarter points in a final series since Michael Jordan in 2015. So that's more than Dirk. Even in the fourth quarters, Steph was still doing more.
And so again, you could easily, not even easy. He played better than him, but people will act as if like, oh well, Dirk has a Finals MVP and Curry doesn't. So that's how I'm just gonna lay it out like that. And to those people, and again, I understand that I would love to believe that people on this platform, especially up here and on the stream, we speak with a little bit more context. But as we all know, that's not how people speak about basketball. It's
Most people
more or
don't.
less.
Yes.
Most people, it's just I'm going to look at the basketball reference page and I'm going to list off what's going on. Again, when I make my like even when I make that again the TikTok that y'all put up about me and Larry Bird, essentially all I said was that Bird doesn't have the longevity in contrast with a lot of the top 10 players, and instead of just accepting that irrefutable fact, like I don't know why that was so hard to consume. People on TikTok, the idiots on TikTok, just went on his basketball reference page, and just start listing off the things he did. I literally saw a nigga look at a cheat sheet and start telling me what he did. I'm like, bro, like that has nothing to do with what I was his argument. Nothing to do with it.
I also saw people ignore your words as well. I've seen people saying, "Oh, Lowe said Larry Bird didn't play high level basketball."
At high level, yeah, that's
not what he said. That's not what he
I
said.
think people will give credit to Bird for making those accomplishments and doing what he did in that short time. So they'll say that was more impressive.
Yeah, some people do value that. Yeah.
And that's great. Yeah, that's great. I think I would, if I asked those people, would you have 9 years of all NBA caliber play from a player or 13 years of all NBA caliber play from a player? They would probably all still pick the 13 years. So congratulations.
How many rings did he win in the 9 versus the other guy in 13?
What's the value of all NBA years?
If the other guy won more in 9, I'd rather have the 9 years. That's what they would say.
The whole winning bias.
When you say all NBA, you mean like first team level, right? Not like a third team All NBA guy for 13 years.
No, I mean like a very clear, like not a fringe.
Like 9 years is a top 5 player or 13 years is a top 5 player. Who would you?
Okay, yeah. Then
I do understand. I do understand that logic though of like, oh yeah, doing more and less. I do understand that.
They did more of what though? All of them
winning.
That's
no,
okay.
No.
So winning.
Not for Bird, but like if I have a guy that's undoubtedly a top 3 player for 10 years compared to a guy who's like top 10, top 15 with like what's it called? Like 7 years. Let's say 7 years of being like top 3. Like I understand that concept. Like, no, I want the dude who's been at that level for all of his career for a short amount of time than somebody who had to work up into that. So I do understand that train of thought.
And I've seen some
that's
people
that's
do that.
that's not comparable to top 10 players though. Because
Yeah.
they all have played at that level for an extended period of time. So even though yes, Bird, I know to the people out there in TikTok, Chilltown or maybe somebody else who y'all been swoosed by has told you some fun facts about Bird. Sorry that just because you regurgitate other fun facts about Larry Bird, that means that you don't really know what you're talking about. So, yes, Bird did you had 3 MVPs in a row. That's congratulations to Larry Bird. There's several players who played an MVP level for 3 years in a row. Shout out to Bird. Let's clap it up for Bird, man. He did an amazing job for winning 3 in a row. I would assume, though, that many of you all will believe that, LeBron in 2014 is better than some of those Larry Bird seasons. I would assume that many of you all believe that MJ in 93 is better than some of those Larry Bird seasons. I would assume that many of you all will believe that Jokic this past season is just as good, if not better, than some of those Larry Bird seasons. So you can clearly understand that just because you don't win an MVP, that does not mean that your season is better than somebody else. It just means that potentially you was in an era of basketball where there weren't that many competent superstar caliber players, or at least superstar caliber players are on winning teams. For those who want to sit there and tell me about Magic Johnson was splitting MVP votes with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which is more context that you idiots don't even understand about either, which is why I don't speak to you numbskulls. So again, these are conversations that will never be had, which is why when we sit here and just regurgitate the basketball reference page, I'm not sitting here talking to idiots. Because y'all are just stupid.
There's people who still believe Larry Bird scored 47 points with his left hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what's the story about that?
It was layup.
Larry Bird didn't feel like using his right hand because he had the Lakers coming up, so he said he was saving his right hand for the Lakers. Went out and had a 47-point triple double with his left hand. No, he didn't. I don't know what to say other than you can watch the game. 2 minutes into the game, he makes a jump shot.
Magic Johnson
2 minutes into the game. 2 minutes into the game, he's made a jump shot with his right hand. It's cap. Straight away, it's cap.
2 minutes is crazy. Come on, that's crazy.
Straight away, I was like, okay. So
maybe one thing feels late in the fourth, but 2 minutes is crazy.
Straight away, instantaneously. I watched 3 possessions. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is cap. Great.
A lot of the shots that he made with his left were just left-handed layups.
I think he made and I will give him credit. I mean, he made I want to say 8 or 9 shots with his left hand. Nice. Even though they were all around the rim, but. Nice. That's a lot of shots with your offense. It wasn't 47 with his left. So that just was a lie.
Low 8 or 9 shots with your offhand in one game is
that's different.
I do want us to understand that is different. Him having 20 points with his offhand is they cap the cap was unnecessary. This is what a lot of people do. People like Jalen, like super fans. Like y'all add like a glaze in which is unnecessary because the original story is good enough.
Yes, it is.
It's more than glaze we added to LeBron. He just goaded. That's all it is.
Okay, Jalen.
All right. Shout out Krispy Kreme glaze.
I'm gonna rotate the guys. Appreciate
you guys have to get packed up.
Put the link in the chat, man, so these numbskulls can come up here so we can.
My biggest problem with accolades is I've never heard someone make like an argument about a player. Like if it's a good argument, I've never heard someone make an argument.
Don't you ever do a story of you singing late at night ever again? I seen that shit.
Wow.
Hold up. You see how many replies I got on that? You know what I know?
I didn't know.
You don't know about the replies we got on that from the cuties.
I don't want to talk anymore.
The white girls, man.
The cuties are nasty.
That Chris Brown with you hits different.
You're such a lover boy, bro. You be easy, bro.
Take it easy.
This is crazy. Go ahead, Mars. My bad.
I'm just gonna read the Superchats. I don't want to say anything. Mike, when it comes to Kobe stands, Jordan stands, LeBron stands, and Steph, what's an agenda they push that you agree with? Preferably a hot take they have.
What?
What's the like a take that the stands of a player make that you low key agree with? Like a glazed take that you're like low key.
Can it be glazed negatively or positively?
Well, the stands of the player wouldn't make a negative.
Oh, it was the stance.
So, like, what's the LeBron stand take? Like, what's the take
This
Jalen's
nigga
made
was
that you
about to
low-key
get the
agree?
nastiest hate off on Steph. Just FYI.
Yeah, it's gonna be disgusting. It's gonna be disgusting.
He was like, "Ooh, I know one for Steph."
A hot take for each and single one of those. Well, Kobe Bryant being the top 3 player, I guess, is a hot take that I
Nigga
agree
said
with
LeBron,
wholeheartedly.
Steph, and Jordan. He still picked the wrong player.
No, wait, no. I thought we're doing all of them.
No. LeBron. Matter of fact, you just doing for Steph. How about that? I want to see if you.
Yeah, what's a Steph stand take that you've?
Yeah, what's a Steph stand take, man?
Bro, he said Kobe stands, Jordan fans, LeBron stands, and Steph fans.
I apologize, but
yeah, that's fine. But we want to hear a Steph stand take that you agree.
From you, yeah.
Oh man, Steph stand that a hot
Thank
take
you,
that
Jay.
I agree with.
Mm-hmm. I low-key agree.
Come back to me.
Nigga is crazy. I agree that Steph was still the best player on the Warriors. I don't mind listening to that when KD was there. I don't mind listening to that.
Me too. I mean,
I don't
say that. I say that.
Yeah.
2021 is the best version of Steph.
I don't think. Okay, whatever.
I don't even know if that's a Steph stand take. I think that's just your take.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would say that LeBron's longevity definitely matters. People try to brush that aside.
I don't think y'all understand.
People do try to brush that aside as just totals, as if he hasn't been like averaging great like his points, for example. People try to dismiss that, which these are a lot of dumb people. Which Mars is right. There are a lot of dumb people that just dismiss it as, oh, he's just been playing for a long time. But I mean, the man also averages 27 for a career, so it's like
that is
it's
crazy.
It's a high production number as well. It's not just
here. I'll glaze KD for a second. Pause. KD, I know he's like been missing like games recently, but KD's longevity is also extraordinarily, I think, underrated. Like just kind of glossed by when we talk about his career, because like for him to, even when I know again he's missing games, but when he's healthy, he's playing like, bro, like the fact that he's this old still playing at that level is actually very impressive. Very, very impressive. So shout out to KD.
Fuck me. Steph. I guess that I partially agree with.
This nigga is
It's paining him to say something
it's
positive.
paining him. Fuck Steph. God.
Something
Positive.
I get. Oh wait, I had it right here. Hold up. Nah. Oh, he's better than Magic Johnson.
Okay.
I'll give you that. Yeah, that's nice.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's just you hating on Magic, but I guess you can.
Yeah, for sure.
That's fine. That's fine.
Good enough
I'm
for
not
me,
mad.
man.
I'm not
Are we
mad.
gonna do a LeBron one that we agree with? I like the illegal defense one. I like how they went.
Well, that LeBron would torch the 90s.
Yeah, because of illegal defense. I'm not gonna lie, I do like.
Actually, yes, I agree with that as well.
I do agree. LeBron.
I'm not mad at that. If LeBron was in the 90s, I agree he would be torching that defense.
And then for the
It would
Jordan,
actually, I'll be honest with you, I'll take it a step further.
Hey, no one asked him to do this, by the way.
If LeBron played in the 90s, I think he would have years where he's like better than Jordan.
Okay, yeah.
How many? Let's put you on the spot. How many?
How many years? How many?
How
years?
many?
And how many points do you think LeBron would be able to put up?
Okay, wait. The last.
Let's say LeBron enters the 90s in year 7.
Okay, so that's
year 7.
Yeah, so like let's say you got drafted the same year as Jordan.
Okay,
and
all right, so
developed at that rate and entered the 90s at that time.
Okay, yeah.
90 and 97, 96, 98. Well, how about this? I'll tell you one better. Which year would LeBron just ascend Jordan? Because I think Jordan will probably enter the league better, obviously. But like 96, 7, and 8, Jordan, I mean, LeBron would just be a better player than Jordan. I'm sorry to the like at that point in how old Jordan is, yeah, LeBron would just be better, and especially because how like long LeBron is going to stay relevant. I think by 93, we will be having a very serious conversation about who's better.
93 is year 9, right?
Yes, and I think isn't year 9 20?
Year 9 LeBron might be 2013 LeBron.
Yeah.
Or is it
I think
2012?
first of all, I also think 2013 and 93, 2013 LeBron and 2019 Jordan. I mean, 2013 LeBron and 93 Jordan are like peaks of all peaks. So let's be clear with that.
You know what?
And I think 92 and 93 is when people might be wavering more.
I think it would be a 1A,
Let
1B situation.
let me elaborate it more on you, right?
Someone said by 93,
LeBron going up against guards that's not
great
getting.
comment.
Oh, what's that?
That's a great comment.
Trying to get MJ to play with him. That is funny as hell. LeBron, what you talking about? 93 will benefit so much because there's not a lot of guards in the league that's sitting here pushing him outside the paint, so he needs to cover space. So he'd be that much better defensively on top of having a legal defense on his side. So he'll be torching people because nobody's guarding that freight train one-on-one. And to play make off of that, he could play in the post and play make off of that. I'm not going to hold you. With him being a better defender and a better offensive player as well, we're talking about 2013 LeBron?
Yeah.
He'll be better than Mike. Easily.
And what was really
easily.
Easily. Okay.
Oh, LeBron would have been better.
Yeah, you're losing.
Oh, okay. Now you're losing. But the thing that really separates Bron from everybody else in that era, maybe aside from Jordan, is his ability as a post-up player, because he would definitely be in the post in the 90s. Him being able to pass way better than everybody else will be the separator for everybody else. Like, that's the thing that Jordan got right. That's the thing that kind of held Hakeem back until Rudy T got there. LeBron being able to like pass out of the post when he gets doubled would be the separator for him and everybody else. And also LeBron playing in the 80s. My God. LeBron being able to play in transition in the 80s is crazy. Young LeBron.
His defense will be very much looked upon better because he has hand checking. And guards it's not too many guards that sit here going outside attacking from the 3-point line. So he does benefit from guard. He does benefit guarding players that isn't that strong 3-point shooters. So not gonna hold you.
Mars, I do agree with you, bro. It has been so fun trolling MJ fans, bro.
It's elite.
Oh,
I prefer it to trolling
LeBron fans.
I prefer it to trolling LeBron fans.
It actually low key is.
Wait, I want to be clear. Everything I just said was not a troll. I actually
You'll know if I'm trolling Jordan fans, but it's so funny because they're so in denial about the fact that they worship Michael Jordan like he's Jesus Christ. Like the LeBron guys, they like somewhat acknowledge it. They know they glaze LeBron. They'll still get emotional and be like, "Oh man, you don't know what you're talking about." The Jordan fans, like, they're so oblivious to the fact that they're just on their knees for this man. That seeing their reaction is just hilarious. So I'm gonna start trolling.
It's normalized.
I would like to say, Lo, besides the easily part, I actually do agree. I actually do think that he will be better. Actually, I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah.
But what y'all got to say, man?
The overrated player.
We're exposing these guys, bro. We're exposing this old head generation of basketball.
Again, oh my god. Okay.
I don't know.
We need Dub to give a good take about 70s basketball.
I don't know if some of y'all came in here before the award conversation or what, but yeah. What's up with y'all, man? What's up?
I heard all that. I'm and I share that same sentiment about trying to say someone is better at basketball because of an award given, especially in different eras when, like you mentioned, Lo, like you made a good argument when you said, "Oh, Bird made all defensive teams." Well, that means that the defenders wasn't like great at his position in that era. That doesn't mean he's a better defender than somebody in this era that isn't making all defensive teams. So, like we've been saying for a while on this show, like it pays to go back and watch these dudes play before, so you can make an assessment of them as players instead of just looking at their basketball reference resumes. Like that's my whole thing. But.
Do y'all think it's a difference between being better and being greater?
No. Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a difference.
Yeah, but neither of them require accolades for me. But yeah.
Oh, for real? Okay. How would you define it then?
Better is how good you are at your best.
Skill, career.
I think if you're better than someone when you were both at your best, you were just better than them. That's the better player. Greater to me is when you like the whole body of work of your career, who was better for longer, pretty much. So if you both played 15 years and one guy was better for 9 of those years and the other guy was better for 6,
The greater player is the one who's better more often.
The greater criteria is just bullshit that they use to try to promote the brand of the NBA, so you could be involved into talking points against the storyline of the NBA and what really happens. In all actuality, this ain't the fucking WWE. It's actually sports. It's not. It's not storyline driven. But the greater arguments are just used to sit here and try to promote the NBA as more of a brand.
I do think greatness debates, and the reason why so many people love them is because you don't have to watch people to make your opinion on them. And that's why a lot of people greatness has to include accolades. The reason being for a lot of people is if you said, talk to me about how good Magic Johnson actually is, and don't go on Basketball Reference to make your argument, they wouldn't know what to say.
You're doing
that's the thing. They wouldn't. If I had a genuine conversation about someone with someone about Steph Curry and Magic Johnson, and they weren't able to use accolades, they'd probably say he's the best playmaker ever, the best passer ever. And that's where they'd stop. And then I'd ask them how he's the best passer ever, and they wouldn't know what to say. That's the issue of greatness debates, because it allows casuals to have a voice and make them feel like that.
You play sports. You play sports to win the game by any means necessary. Players aren't playing the fucking game worrying about, oh man, I wonder how this storyline is gonna go if I perform well here and perform well there. No. They're just trying to win.
I think some do.
Some do, yeah. Some do.
LeBron.
I see what you're saying.
Not the top guy.
LeBron cares about the story. KD don't care about the story. LeBron cares about the story.
Man, Luka don't care about his story.
KD doesn't care about the story. Why he goes to the Warriors?
Wait,
y'all going too far.
Absolutely.
I think
I'm about to say KD don't care about the story. Why he go to the Warriors?
Because he wanted to win.
Why he all in Twitter spaces?
Yeah, he cares about his story. He cares about
Wait.
For his legacy.
I think he just
No, stop. I think he cares about winning for sure. Story, because he went back to Brooklyn, so you know
that's what I'm saying. He cares.
I'm not saying no players care about legacy, and I'm not saying no players care about accolades. I think it's pretty clear some players care about accolades, some players don't. That's fine.
Right.
Just because
Kobe definitely cared about.
Just because they care does not mean I have to care.
I don't give a
If they want to win MVPs, good for them. Go ahead and play at an MVP level. I'm going to say you're playing at an MVP level. I'm not about to go put you over someone because you won the MVPs over someone else. I'm not about to do that. You can care about the awards, and I'm not about to be like, you won the MVP, it doesn't matter. I think winning the MVP does matter. Good for you. Well done, Joel Embiid. Well done, Jokic. Well done, Giannis. Congratulations. You won the MVP.
Here, nigga.
I'm not about to say you're better than someone else because you won the MVP. That's not what I'm about to do. But that's when I say it doesn't matter. I mean, when I'm talking about who's better between players, I'm not about to bring up accolades. They don't mean anything in that context. Do they matter when it comes to does it matter for contract incentives? Yes. Does it matter to the players? Sure. Does it matter to me when I'm discussing who's better? No. That's what I mean.
How much stock do you guys put in as far as head-to-head meetings? Like the two players actually playing against each other, their teams. Sort of like Tim Duncan versus Kobe.
About 0%.
Yeah,
I was about to say
it doesn't matter.
Got the matchups.
I wouldn't say zero. I wouldn't say 0%, but it's like it would have to be position based, right? Tim Duncan versus Kobe, like they're not matching up to each other unless like Duncan's on the help side and Kobe's not going to be guarding Tim Duncan. So in my mind is like I can't even do that. But we got like Tim Duncan versus Shaq, or like Shaq versus Dikembe. Like Hakeem, that matters. I mean,
Steph and CP.
The reason why I don't really care that much is because
I just care about how
I care. I'm gonna say I care a little bit,
but about how well they play against the best players.
I care a little bit, but it's the reason why I don't care is because people just don't have genuine conversations about it. So even like this past year with Jokic and Embiid, Jokic was frying that nigga. He could not do a single thing with Embiid, and then in the halftime.
Wait,
then they switch. Yes, frying him in the first half. But in the first half, Jokic was frying.
You talking about the game that just happened?
They only played once this season.
They only played once this season.
No, my bad.
Yeah, Joel Embiid ducked the second.
I was remembering the other game.
The one where Jokic had no aura. Right?
Yeah, and then the no aura. and then they switched. PJ Tucker was on Jokic, and then Embiid was roaming around helping to make it more difficult for Jokic to score. But the way that people make it seem, as if like not only did Embiid outperform him offensively, but defensively, he also just was locking up. He wasn't defending him. In the first half, when he was defending him, he was getting cooked, and they switched it because that's how bad he was getting fried.
So you're saying Doc Rivers made an
did cook
adjustment?
him though.
Yeah, Embiid made the adjustments without doubt.
No, Doc Rivers made the.
I mean, Doc Rivers made the
Yeah,
adjustment.
W coach.
So people don't say those things accurately, so that's why I don't care.
Yeah, it's very subjective, especially if you got a certain fan base or recency bias. So like, if I looked at Larry Bird versus Magic, right? What I would say is what Bird does best, and look at what Magic does best, and how that coincides into winning. So even though Bird was a great shooter and better all around player than Magic, when he's on the court versus those Lakers and Magic Johnson, he couldn't stop Magic's pace. They didn't have a guy that can mess with Magic Johnson's passing. He was free flowing. They couldn't stop the offense. They still ran up 115, 120 points. So it's like, even though Bird is great and all around, what he did best couldn't offset what Magic did. So it's like, are you going to take the skill player, or are you going to take the player who actually dominated?
But what you're saying is they couldn't slow down Magic. They couldn't deal with Magic's playmaking. That's not Bird's job. Bird's job is not to slow down the Lakers' offense. That's not.
But impact wise,
yeah, and I agree. I think a player A can be more impactful than player B. I don't think that's relegated to just individual. I think a certain team can be better built. Like, I think the Lakers could be better built to slow down Bird than Boston was to slow down Magic. Does that make Bird worse than Magic? No, I think that's just the way the team goes. So okay, I think that's why I think how well you play against like the best competition matters. I think like I value like what you're able to do against elite defenses. If you're an offensive player, I value great defensive players being able to slow down some of the best offenses. I value like Drew Holiday being able to guard the best players. I value Steph Curry being able to go against the Drew Holiday and Cook. Like, I value those things. But when it comes to like Larry Bird against the Lakers or Larry Bird against Magic, and then Magic's being able to get off against the Boston defense, that's not Magic. That's not Larry Bird's responsibility.
Okay.
And then Larry Bird not being able to cook against the Lakers defense, that doesn't look better on Magic, because Magic's not the one responsible for Larry Bird struggling against the Lakers, because you will know his defense isn't making a difference. That's why it doesn't really hold much weight to it. In that
okay, what about like Steph and CP?
He just said that. He literally just said if they're matching up with one another, and
then I hold value in the ability of like Chris Paul defending Steph. How well Steph does, how well Chris Paul does with that matchup. I value those things.
No, Steph don't guard him though. Steph runs away from the matchup.
Yeah, I'm talking about Chris Paul. Yeah, Steph's defense is not even anything. But Chris Paul guarding Steph, I put value on that. I put value on Chris Paul guarding Steph than I would put on him guarding Bryn Forbes.
That's the thing I don't understand.
But I'm saying that as in like if you look at their matchups, Chris Paul has outplayed him even in his older years, like the past, like not 3 years from now, but like not the last 3 years, but like he's outplayed him a lot of times.
Outplayed who?
Chris Paul outplayed Steph.
When?
They've met in the playoffs.
He's outplayed him.
They've met in the playoffs 3 times, right? They've met in the playoffs. They've met in the playoffs 3 times. 2014, 2018, and 2019. They're the only 3 times they've met in the playoffs, right?
Not just postseason, but if we're gonna count everything, right? Or just kind of.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't have a very strong memory of a bunch of regular season matchups with Chris Paul and Curry.
I also don't.
I pay very good attention to those games.
You'll be more well versed than me. I'm not really.
I don't think after 2015. I don't think that Curry was.
I know Steph was cooking the Clippers from the
homework
onwards. But I don't know what. I don't vividly remember what Chris Paul was doing. So that's your domain. You're clearly more versed in that than I am. I'll defer to you because I don't know what Chris Paul and Steph were doing in those regular season matchups off the top of my head. So.
I got one more question about
Did that game not help your agenda?
The matchup.
I could read it off for you if you want.
If you want.
It's up to y'all. Do y'all want me to give you?
It don't matter. I was just throwing that out there.
What do you?
But yeah, I think I gave my opinion
Curry, Chris Paul.
Yeah, I'm about to say because even I'm about to.
It's pretty even. I'm not even going to hold.
I'm about to say I don't think it's as lopsided because I think after 2015, I think it started to slowly teeter towards Curry, but before then, for sure. But I don't know
Even
if it's
you
as
sure?
lopsided as you.
2015 is when Curry hit his prime, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
Are we sure? Are we sure? Are we looking at those games?
I'm not sure. That's why I'm looking it up.
Let me go look at these box scores.
Nah, I'm not gonna hold you. It's looking. It's like they're even. They're like dead even. It's not Chris Paul was outperforming. Yeah, even in 2018, like they were dead even.
Are we looking at total impact?
Here goes basketball.
Well, I'm only looking at a box score right now. There's not much I can really look at.
Obviously, we can't watch the game. Yeah, but
how can y'all determine who outplayed each other?
But I'm just as in like this
skimming.
is
We're
the
skimming right
greatest
now
team that Steph had. And this is like, I don't know. I just see what Steph had to do, at least in those years with the Warriors. He wasn't doing that on average versus Chris Paul, while not playing defense against them. Chris Paul was guarding
Curry averaging 25 a game.
His value was never on. That's the other thing I don't understand with y'all. His value wasn't on defense. Just because he doesn't.
No, I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying.
But
that was what it was during matchups.
Yeah, but gauging him as a defender doesn't really make that much
Why?
sense.
Because it's basketball. We have to gauge everything. But
And that's why I don't agree with. If somebody,
you don't.
Somebody can't play defense. We can't just be like, well, he doesn't play defense. You know, we
somebody's
can't
bad on the other end. We just can't ignore that.
Part of the game.
I don't like.
It's not about ignoring. It's about acknowledging that everything they do on the other side makes up for it. And
they could, but the
offense, we understand there's great offensive players who are better than great two-way players.
But was he really great offensively versus Chris Paul?
Oh man.
Okay, so
from
now
my knowledge, he was cooking the Clippers.
Okay, so now I'm really intrigued.
Yes,
from my
like,
knowledge, he was cooking
about?
the Clippers. But I will say those Houston series, Steph used to struggle. I will say that.
But wait a minute, I just to the point about the offense being more important than the defense. That still goes to what we were saying earlier about roster construction. If Curry's on a team that doesn't have the capability of masking that issue for him, then it becomes a bigger deal than what we've seen it be. Also, another great example of this is Jokic, who just won a championship. As great as Jokic was offensively, when he had those lesser rosters, those rosters that weren't good defensively to mask his problems, to help mask his problems, then he couldn't win. But he gets a roster with Aaron Gordon. He gets a roster with Bruce Brown. He gets a roster. Christian Braun did some great BOA. But they were also better defensively and also better. They were more equipped to mask that issue for him.
There was not a team that they went up against in the postseason that was going to be able to exploit him the way that.
So they weren't. He didn't have better defensive support this year than the year with Mike Capazzo.
The Suns did it, but they didn't do it. I don't know what they did.
Nobody on the Suns is as good offensively as Curry. Man, shut the fuck up.
But going pick and roll with Jokic
with Mike
is different. Act like you have to be offensively skilled to run the same pick and roll.
He definitely had a roster around him to win
better defensive support this year.
I'm not saying he did it. I'm not saying he did it.
No, shut the fuck up, because now no. So you're not about to tell me that his team did not have better defensive rotation players this year than those years he was getting bounced by Phoenix, than those years he was getting bounced by the Warriors. You're not about to tell me that.
But I'm not saying that he didn't. What I said again is that the personnel that they matched up against is different, because there was not a player that they went up against that is offensively sound as Curry in a backcourt of CP3 and Devin Booker. There just wasn't. It just wasn't.
Two things can be true, motherfucker. They could have been playing better players, sure, but he also had better defensive help on his team.
But the point I'm making is if he went up against Curry this year, do you believe Curry would have been torching it again drop coverage?
They played a little different in their defensive scheme, though.
How good are they? How good is such and such fighting over screens? I need
KCP.
There's more context. There's more context than just the drop coverage of Jokic.
I also think Jokic is better defensively than he was.
I think if they went up against one another, I still think that Curry would have been.
I don't think what Curry does, like Devin Booker, Chris Paul, at least a healthy Chris Paul and KD. I don't think what he does is better than what they do, and those three options, like all together in a pick and roll setting.
Real talk. What Lo is saying is, this defense argument that you're making right now, if it got better slightly. But
It
the
was
reason
not
why
It was
slightly.
not even
When
slightly.
the reason
Campazzo was bro. Oh
can
my
you
god.
let you talk about people interrupting you? Can I say something?
I'll stick with it.
This is a dumb
I
point,
haven't
Dub.
said
Thank you,
nothing
thank
about
you.
interrupting
the
No,
hate on
this
because
trade.
what Low is saying is that in this whole postseason run, there was not one team that can sit here. There's not one team that can sit here and exploit Jokic and bring him outside the paint.
The Suns.
Can sit here.
The
fuck you
Suns-
talking
but
about the
Suns were
Suns?
not doing
No,
though.
it
Jesus
was just
Christ.
KD.
They
and
didn't
Devin
do it, but
Booker.
they could have. They ran a
No,
pick
they
and
did it,
roll.
but they did it though.
Oh
But
my
they did it.
god,
It was
But you
crazy.
say, but you
You know,
just
you know,
said they
you
did
know
it.
so
You saying
crazy.
they
You know so
couldn't have
crazy.
though. You saying they
You
couldn't, but they
know
did
so
it. That's the
crazy.
thing.
You know so crazy. When they did it, they were scoring. I think they were scoring like 1.3 on PNRs with D Book handling the ball.
This is their problem. They ran too
They
many
were
damn
hype. They were
sets. Coach
okay.
Monty
That's
was
fine.
doing too
But
much.
when they actually did do it though, they were actually hyper efficient when they actually did do it. So again, it's not as if like Jokic just became such a better defender that it made up for, or even if KCP and them were good enough defenders to really slow it down. No, when they actually did run pick and roll, what they just should have keep doing. When they actually did it, they were actually hyper efficient when they did it, thus proving that it's not as if like they were all that much better defensively. They were better, but they weren't so much better that would go against or change the dynamics of how they would potentially defend somebody like Damian Lillard or Steph Curry or Chris Paul 3 years ago. It just wasn't. They weren't that good.
Matter of fact, Lo. What is KCP? What is his best defensive attribute? Is it on ball or as a chaser?
Chase.
I said his speed. His speed is.
Okay, so when going against the Warriors, particularly because again they didn't have KCP on that team earlier. That's what I'm saying. This team even now would be better equipped to do something about Steph and Clay than the team he had previously.
And what Low is saying is that's fine. What he's saying,
but it's not just incremental though.
Real talk. What I'm saying is, what he's saying is, and I agree, it's fine. The thing is, they still weren't going to stop those motherfuckers. Yes, it's a better scenario. They weren't going to stop Dame cooking them. Wasn't going to stop Steph cooking them. Wasn't going to stop Chris Paul, Devin Booker cooking them back in 21. They weren't going to stop them.
So what did Steph do against Sabonis?
More
What did Steph do against
than what the
Sabonis?
fuck they were doing.
What did Steph do against Sabonis? Is that what you
He
said?
averaged 33 that series.
And you think the thing is, y'all, they face the Sacramento Kings. They're not better than the Nuggets, right? So you think if the Warriors played against the Nuggets, who Sabonis and Jokic similar defensively, but Jokic is a little bit better, you don't think that they will win?
He averaged 33.
It's not about winning or losing. We're talking about how he would defend a pick and roll or those sets where he's being pulled out of the paint. That's what we're discussing.
Okay, he'll get towards. I thought you were saying.
Look, Denver, I agree with real talk
about winning and losing. That's the thing.
Yeah, Denver's
all about
defense
winning
did
and
get
losing.
better.
That's
He
what it's
has
about.
better pieces around him. Bruce Brown played great. The thing is, the teams that they face didn't have the counters that the Warriors have. If you play drop coverage versus Devin Booker, it's different than Steph Curry because Steph Curry is going to light you from 30. If you trap him, then you can go to Draymond. Now you got at a disadvantage. You got Clay over there. You got Wiggins and stuff. The other teams didn't have those counterparts that the Warriors have. That's sort of the difference with Lowe and Dub.
Okay, and what
And Devin Booker was still cooking.
what I'm saying is that maybe you can't stop Steph, but maybe a KCP doesn't allow Jordan Poole to get a fucking contract because he averaged 28 in the damn series. So again, they are better equipped. Y'all were talking about one singular player. I'm saying that this team
That's
now,
all we're talking about. That's it.
I'm saying this team now would offer far more resistance against that Warriors team than that team he had then.
I agree.
I don't agree.
But I agree they give more resistance. But the way I'm gauging Jokic as a defender is in how he's defending Jordan Poole because of Jordan.
But I wasn't talking about Jokic as a defender. My original point was that team. The construct of your team
defense.
when y'all were talking about offensive players are just so much better than two-way players, I brought up the fact that roster construction for that offensive player is very important to mask his defensive liabilities. That's very important. If he doesn't have a team that's able to max them, then the need of him being a two-way player would be exposed more because he doesn't have the defensive roster around him to max that. That's all I was saying.
And that's fair. I just don't think that this year was as much as y'all think it was. I think that if they went up against somebody like Curry or Dame, that Jokic's defensive problem still would have got. Not saying they would have won. No, I think Denver still would have won. But I still think the concern of who Jokic is as a defender is very much so still alive. He just didn't call it. But let me further the point of the roster construction argument. That is every team, especially every great team in NBA history. That's just who that is. Every player, especially ones who have won multiple championships, have very clear weaknesses in their games. And so the team builds around them. So it may not be to the extent of he's not sound enough on one side of the floor, as sound as y'all think that he needs to be. But this goes back to like why individual defensive ability isn't as valuable or isn't as game-changing as some of you all make it out to be, unless you're playing at like a transcendent or near transcendent level. It just doesn't really matter as much as y'all think it does.
I think it does.
No,
you're wrong. Two people.
Everybody has weaknesses. It's just
you're wrong.
About
you
when
were wrong.
we're
You
building,
were wrong as hell for talking about this team wouldn't be better against that Warriors team. You were absolutely wrong.
When we're building teams, especially like guys in the top 10, I think it's going to be very much easier to make up for like Hakeem's deficiencies, Kobe's deficiencies, Duncan's deficiencies, than a guy like Curry.
Why would it make up? Why in the 90s would it be okay to make up for Hakeem's deficiencies?
He said a top.
I said, what do you mean? Why you said in the 90s?
Because that's when he played.
That's when he played.
I'm just saying in his whole totality.
Yeah, but the deficiencies of players are pretty heavily predicated on the era in which they played in, no?
Depending. Yeah. You can see how it could travel.
It's not depending. It's not depending. It's not depending.
How?
It's not depending.
What's going to be Hakeem's deficiencies?
Hakeem not being able to shoot threes and pass would definitely be a deficiency to his game. So if he wasn't on Rudy T's team and they didn't surround him with a bunch of threes, I don't think that any of us would look at him the same way because they surrounded the proper personnel around him. If he didn't have that, and especially in the 90s, he would struggle way more than he did.
Now let me ask you: is that supporting cast inferior or superior to Steph's supporting cast in which he had?
It's inferior if you want to look at totality, but I think that there's years where it's not that far off, like 2022. I don't think it's that far off from 90. I might actually think it's worse than 95.
Worse?
Then he had Clyde Drexler, another 20.4, the best three-point shooting team in the league.
You love bringing up this run like he didn't go up against weak comp. Like what the fuck are we talking? You
went to comp now.
No, because you're the winner. Because you're talking about.
You asked me about the supporting cast. That's what you asked me about.
Nah, because we're talking about in 2022.
You asked me about the supporting cast.
He beat Luka.
Let's look at this fucking supporting cast.
But no, he asked me about the.
Bro, Luka not like that.
The man had two great defenders on his fucking crew. He had Jordan Poole.
Nobody said it was a bad team. You just said in contrast to 95.
Nah, that supporting cast was better than the fucking 95 crew.
Oh, well, you're just lying. You just don't know what you're talking about.
95
I don't.
But the Rockets were a 6th seed, man. What are we talking about?
The Rockets had a player on their had another player on their team that could self-create to 20+ points. In the 90s, that was very rare.
Which year are you talking about? You talking about the year when they had Clyde?
When they had Clyde.
Yeah, Clyde.
Oh, what about the year before?
Oh no, I said no.
We're not talking about that.
Hey, so but he won. He was.
I said before. I say in totality, no, it's Curry. But if I pick specific years like 22 to 95, no, 95 is a better supporting cast.
Does anyone here think Curry is better than Hakeem?
No.
No,
What are we talking about?
No, I don't.
No,
I do, but I don't
I-
want to speak
I
on
already-
it.
We're
Yes,
just talking about
yes.
we're just talking
Okay.
about
He
we're
said
just
yes.
talking about deficiencies and
You
Curry
can't.
and
You
his
don't even believe
Curry and his Curry.
You don't even
We're
really
talking,
believe that. You just-
we're talking about
don't.
deficiencies,
I do.
right? And I think Low
Yeah, you can't. That's not right.
I think Low is underrating how much you have to make up for Steph and Curry, because even in 22, you still had Klay
I
Thompson.
think
Where
you
if you
overrated.
no, you needed you
'Cause
still
you
needed
did leading
an
off with Klay Thompson.
you still needed no. Watch this. Klay Thompson was still he wasn't a terrible defender, so you still had a wing defender in Klay. You had a great wing
Just
defender.
because he wasn't terrible doesn't make him a wing defender.
No,
He's
Doug.
not a wing
Just
defender.
because he wasn't terrible does not make
He
him
was
a wing
playing
defender.
So he wasn't playing defense in the 2022 run.
He was
wasn't
adequate at best.
Yeah,
He's
good.
better
And they
than-
wouldn't
That's
even
not
factor.
true.
He
He
could have went with
wasn't
Andrew Wiggins.
He was
guarding
adequate.
Jaylen Brown, bro.
The fact that you
It's not
lead with Klay
2016
Thompson and he's got
Klay
Yeah, I
Thompson.
agree. Wiggins is a wing defender. Klay Thompson is just
Klay
he's
Thompson
there.
was
He was
Klay
guarding
Thompson-
Jaylen Brown, bro.
Klay
That's
Thompson-
not that's.
No, y'all not
Klay
going,
got that.
Y'all
No,
love doing this.
Draymond
Y'all
was
love
on Jaylen
disrespect.
Brown.
Draymond was on
Yeah,
Jaylen Brown.
why did
Y'all
you
love
say
disrespect for Klay Thompson.
Klay was on Al Horford in the corner.
Yeah,
And
Draymond.
Jaylen Brown.
Why
But
did
my
you-
They
point
switched
is,
I
him
thought
off
that was
after
only at the
one
end of the
game.
game.
my
They
point
switched him
is,
off after one game.
my point is,
If you're talking about Steph and Hakeem,
Oh, my bad.
get to my point.
No, you got it.
Let's just imagine he said Wiggins is the wing defender.
Okay.
you
You're
muted.
muted now.
Even the StreamYard don't want to hear you.
Fucking capping his rap.
Are you good now?
Go ahead. You're good now. Oh, you're not good.
Yo, Mike, unplugged.
Let me read some super chats.
No. We're here. You hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, stop, because y'all just over here nut sucking right now for Klay Thompson. You had a guy in Klay Thompson where you could sit here and throw him on some people so he could guard up. He was a good defender in that run. You had Andrew Wiggins, who was a great defender in that run. Bodies to throw at him, and he could sit here and score a little bit for you by playing off of Steph. You had Draymond Green, this transcendent defender that y'all love, glazing and praising. You had a Jordan Poole who was coming off the bench, who was giving you buckets. So, yes, he still had a great supporting cast in that run, going up against the Dallas Mavericks who got hurt.
Respect Draymond.
Going against the Memphis Grizzlies who got hurt. The Dallas Mavericks, where their defense wasn't great, and even then, he didn't even have that crazy offensive series. And then the really team that he beat, that was comp, was the Boston Celtics. So I'll give him credit for that. But all of the other teams in which he faced, it wasn't great comp.
You just asked me about the supporting cast. That's all you asked me about. You didn't say anything about comp.
That was Curry's
You
worst
said-
championship supporting cast.
Yeah, you just told me about the supporting
Yeah,
cast.
and he didn't run at the same
I don't know what to
time.
tell you, dog.
No, it was still great. That was still a great supporting
Nobody
cast.
didn't say that.
Do you
It
think
was good. It wasn't great.
Who do you think had a better roster, the Warriors or the Celtics? In that
good.
Niggas averaged like 16 on what 40s.
The comparison was 95 Rockets. I don't know why you're acting as if like I said it was trash. I just said it wasn't as good as a 95 Rockets.
Nah, you overrating how much you gotta have bodies like that on the floor to make up for Curry, bro. You have to.
I mean,
And
I'm not gonna lie. I think with Steph's deficiencies being defense, any reasonably constructed team can hide Steph Curry on defense.
It's easier
No,
to
because
hide
it's
him
not
he's a
even
guard.
just
It's not even on the wing. Somebody in the corner.
Any team that isn't just built like a clown show can get by with Steph.
It's easier said than done, because you're gonna need some guys who can get some buckets from you on the bench, because I believe Otto Porter has some good minutes in there too.
We talking about defense.
But look, no, because I'm talking about roster construction, right?
But look,
we're talking about hiding.
We're talking about hiding Curry's deficiencies.
You gotta think about, it's a pool of money that you need to spend. So I have to spend money where I have this secondary guy who can get some buckets. If I don't have that secondary guy, I need at least two guys who can sit here and get some buckets.
That's every championship
And then,
team.
You're explaining roster construction.
It's easier to hide a guard than a big.
Stop! Keep interrupting.
This is crazy.
Go ahead.
Stop for a second, please. It's a roster construction.
Yes.
There's not enough money for me to sit here. There's not a lot of guys who sit in a two-way threat like this, sit here just build around Steph Curry, where they could be great defensively and a great secondary option to him as well. On top of that, I need some defensive pieces to make up for that, which costs good money as well. My point is, it's not enough money to go around when I'm building a team to get all of those pieces successfully on average for Steph and Curry, bro.
This year,
well, defense. A lot of defense.
This year's Nuggets team. Who are the elite level all time great defenders that they surrounded with Jokic, and they were still more than adequate enough defensively.
They benefited from not going up against crazy comp. They benefited from that.
What? Bro, no, Jokic.
What you mean what? That's a
Curry,
fact. That is a fact. What are you talking about?
But you also said that they didn't go up against crazy comp the Warriors as well.
Did you pick the Heat to beat them?
No, he didn't pick the Heat. No, he didn't pick the no.
Were the
Suns and the Lakers is comp. I don't know what y'all talking about.
The Suns is comp. The Lakers were comp.
It was
yeah, that's messed up to talk about LeBron and they were comp.
Like if you look at that Suns series, that should have been closer than what it was.
But it wasn't.
No, they were over. They
overachieved.
They
didn't have anybody in that fucking run.
I see what you're saying, but I still don't think it's as much as you're making out to be. And again, I think that is applicable to every roster. One of LeBron's deficiencies is that he best benefits him to have 3-point shooting and another shot creator. He's been able to find that throughout his career, more or less, right? The best way to build a team around Jordan, especially in a triangle offense, would be another ball handler to initiate offense and 3-point shooting to give the adequate spacing. They were able to find that throughout his career. These are things that, like,
the rules allow spacing as well.
Even if you want to talk about,
but they had 3-point shooting.
Yeah, they had four.
I want to repeat what I said. Like I said, Curry great offensively, Jokic great offensively to sit here and be like to make up for that, right? They're great enough offensively. I'm saying when I'm comparing them to guys like in the top 10 realm of all time, that's a point in my head where I'm like, all right, it's easier for me to deal with that compared to Curry, because I would rather have a guy as a two-way. That's what.
And let me be clear again. I said with the exception of near to transcendent defenders. So we kind of got off rail. You picked Hakeem, who was a transcendent defender in the top 10.
Best of all time.
Most of these, who would you claim? Because I think you also have Curry like 10 or 11. So you put Curry above players.
8 now. He has Steph at like 8.
So you have Steph above players who are great on both sides of the floor. So you already
I said I agree. I agree with that. I said I agree with that in the beginning. But
he's just trying to hate on Steph. Just let him go.
Yeah,
Mars. I do.
There's more. There's players in the top 10 that have better rosters constructed around them than Steph.
Let me ask Mars this real quick. Mars, were the Nash Suns a clown show?
That's why they're down.
Okay, because I'm trying to. You said. Defensively,
they were.
Defensively, they didn't build a good team.
No, the team itself was not a clown.
Oh, definitely not.
I think it is a leap that we're taking mentally to just assume. And again, you could be right, but just to assume that just a adequate defensive team would be okay for Steph when we've seen nothing but elite defenses with Steph.
That's not what I said. I said just adequately constructed roster. Like if you build like the default roster to every player's strength, like so Steph would need probably one other facilitator and then defensive pieces. That's what Steph would need. Hakeem would probably need floor spacing and then someone else who can attack or close out and create on the perimeter. Shaq would need a perimeter scorer and then he'd probably need spacing and maybe a little bit of defense alongside him. That's what Shaq would. If you build like the most default roster for everyone's strengths, Steph wouldn't just be like an outlier where the team is just terrible. Like Steph, you don't need all this all-time great pieces around Steph. You just need a well-constructed roster around his strengths, just like everyone else. That's what I'm saying. So Steph needs a Draymond Green type player, who most people don't think is that great. A Draymond Green type player, floor spacing, and then probably a rim protector. That's what I mean. That's not. I'm not asking for much.
You can find that anywhere.
I mean, no, you can't. Wait. You can't.
I'm not saying you can find Draymond Green anywhere, but I'm saying
you cannot
like
find
every team to compete at a high level needs multiple players.
Wait.
who are
No.
very good.
Don't pull that bullshit. Don't pull that bullshit because don't sit here and act as if you don't cape for Draymond Green's defense as if this is a transcendent defense.
I do. Like I just said,
he just sat there and said you couldn't find Draymond anywhere. He just said that.
No. Don't do this shit.
And I just said every team to compete at championship level needs multiple people who are great. Draymond Green would be the same.
I said.
No. We could run this shit back because Mars said,
and I said most people don't consider Draymond to be that great. Yes.
Okay. Don't go
most
off.
People are dumb.
Okay, great. Don't go off of what other people are saying because
then I said Draymond Green is great, and I said most teams need multiple great people.
So how is Steph having a transcendent
because every team, most teams in order to compete, most teams in order to compete need multiple great people.
And if Draymond Green is the second best,
that wasn't what he said. 5 championship teams that didn't have multiple great people.
Name me the endless amount of top 10 players that didn't have another a player on their team that was playing transcendent on one side of the floor. Name them.
Every team needs multiple great pieces.
Braun, let's say Braun. Even though I think Anthony Davis was a transcendent defender. Hakeem.
What you mean? He
Are you talking about for all of their chips?
Yeah, we're talking about all
of their chips.
Two.
LeBron.
How many chips you talking about?
Duncan. LeBron. Duncan. Would you consider D Wade transcendent?
He's not a
for a year.
Player.
So Shaq.
If it is,
well,
Kobe
Shaq did it with Kobe. Shaq
yeah, Kobe.
Shaq.
When the Heat.
Forgot about Kobe. Shaq.
Kobe.
He won. Shaq.
Magic.
No,
Kareem.
he played with Kobe.
He won in 06.
No, Wade was transcendent. Wait.
That's why I asked.
I thought you meant Wade for LeBron. I was like, if you're asking me that, then I guess okay.
Out of all the top 10 players, Draymond Green is the most least second best option. Second best player on the team out of everybody that's in the top 10.
You're trying to say he's the worst sidekick out of everybody in the top 10.
We'll get back.
I don't know about that.
I'm not agreeing with him.
Who's better to you, Dub? Who's better to you, Draymond Green or Pau Gasol?
Thank you. That's that was my question.
He's gonna say Pau, but
I know for the sake of the argument, you're gonna end up saying Draymond Green now, but I know you don't believe that.
Are we talking about at their best?
And who's better, Draymond? Okay, let's do it. The years they won. Dub, who's better? Pau Gasol in 09 and 2010, or Draymond Green in 2015 and 2022?
Game 7.
Ooh, Game 7.
Oh no, Pau. Yeah, Pau's better.
So if Kobe did it, can I say Steph did it?
Nah, I'm taking Dre.
He's gonna then bring up Clay.
We're changing the criteria, bro.
No, okay, all right. So
because again,
you have 4 names, Dub. You have 4.
Okay. Yeah, so I said Tim Duncan,
Hakeem,
Kobe,
and I guess you're
LeBron.
only. I guess you're specifically talking about like 2016. 2016.
Yeah, Tim Duncan.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah,
LeBron,
but I think Duncan won like 2 rings without having. Yeah.
So then everyone outside.
I don't want to be honest.
Everyone outside, and now everyone outside of that. Now this is my list, right? Because I have MJ top 3. I think he's better than Curry, right? Despite him having that
transcendent defender and
right?
Pippen.
So then we have Shaq right there. And
transcendent player and Kobe.
No, for sure. But now everybody falls under the same type.
Yeah,
of
okay, yeah. That's
so
what
they're all near each other. You got KD, Curry, Shaq.
KD top 10? KD top 10?
To Dub, yes. KD's top.
Oh yeah. So my criteria. So honestly, no. You try to cook right here, but you didn't.
No, I just didn't know. I didn't know you had
all the players.
No, it's funny.
All the players that didn't have that is over Curry, is over KD, even over Shaq.
But Jordan, you don't. It's not over Jordan though.
Jordan at 3, but you could tell how his game can travel. You feel me? But Jordan's 3. I'm not going
how his game travel. Dub had him the GOAT in '93.
No way. Oh man. Then you got KD in your top 10.
Criteria.
When that nigga definitely is not applicable to this year.
My criteria is, you feel me? My criteria is makes sense.
So you have Duncan top 5.
Yeah, I moved him up. I'm not gonna hold you. Yeah,
I love it, dumb.
Shaq playing with Kobe, bro. I'm not.
He
Gonna
just
hold you.
moved him too.
Wow.
That's
Why
wild.
does that diminish a
But Kobe
player
playing with
if
Shaq
they play
just
with
cool.
great other players?
Kobe plays with Shaq. Oh, he's number 2.
But because Kobe won
Kobe
2,
or Duncan
Kobe
style.
won 2 though.
we
What
won 2 with Powell. That's why.
There we go.
You gotta catch up, man.
Then he won one without.
But then Steph wins 2 without KD, and KD still over Steph.
No, is he?
Oh.
Yeah, he has KD over Steph.
That's crazy,
yeah.
dude.
KD over Steph.
You have KD over Steph?
See,
I don't see nothing wrong with that though.
It's not even an argument.
That's
It's not even
true.
a discussion.
Puts him over Shaq.
Wait, Dub, what's your top 10?
2 without KD.
There's no way you have there's no way you have this feeling towards Curry, but you have KD over Curry.
Oh, there's no. They're right next to each other.
No, I so let that nigga explain.
I'm not
Disrespectful.
I'm not saying they can't be wrong, but the fact it shouldn't be, because if you're this hell bent on Curry and put in a context of personnel around him, when KD's only one with the same personnel that Curry had alongside with Curry.
No, KD did not.
But we're not talking about winning though.
KD did not have.
Winning don't matter.
It's not about winning, but KD didn't have optimal pieces around him for the majority.
What?
I think he had pieces. I think he had good pieces around him. But 2016, even though he had Russ, the spacing was fucking shit. Terrible. I don't expect a lot of people, even Curry.
And they still won how many games?
So do you think the spacing was great around Curry in like 2013, 14, and 15? Do you think it was great at that moment?
Well, he still played well.
Let's ask this question: Is Russ
but Curry wasn't performing at like peak Curry levels at that instance. So.
But I'm not gonna lie.
In the postseason, you can argue he's playing just as well as Curry, if not KD, if not better.
Lie. You're a fucking. Oh wait,
in 2013, no, I said just as well, if not better than KD.
When
2013, 14, and 15, yeah, you can.
Is Russ games optimal for KD?
Yes.
2015, KD didn't play.
Really?
Well,
like
I mean,
that's the most optimal point guard besides Steph.
This is the thing with KD, where it's like it annoys.
He's gonna apply some meaty context.
No, because it's
about
weird.
to get nasty.
Because you have years when he went up against the 2014 Spurs. Fucking Ibaka wasn't even there, and then you feel me, like it just wasn't that great. Then
Curry also went up against the Spurs in that stretch of years as well.
He beat him too, didn't he?
Yeah.
What you mean?
No,
he beat him one time.
He lost in 2013.
He beat him
He
one
lost to the Spurs
time.
in 2013
with no Kawhi. Wow, win.
He lost.
Oh yeah, that was in 2017. That's a long way.
No, not 2017. He lost to the Spurs in 2013, but he played them as well. He played the same Spurs,
and he
played 22-6.
And he played bad. He played bad in that series.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Go look it up. 2013. Go check it up. Go check it.
22 points. 22.6.
I'm gonna be honest. I watched the series with my eyes. I don't care about what the stats tell you because you told me Steph didn't play well in the 2019 finals. So I genuinely don't care. Like I watched.
He had a 40-point
regardless of if he played bad. Regardless if you think he played bad, you was putting into context to why Durant also played bad or why you saw some drops, correct? So if he dropped that same
KD against
context,
that 2014 Spurs team played better than Curry. So what we doing?
Okay, what about the 22
do you not think it
Celtics?
was a better team though?
Who?
2014, what you call it?
2014 with Ibaka
Thunder.
being hurt? With Ibaka being hurt? No.
In 2013 with like a rookie Klay Thompson or a second-year Klay Thompson, a rookie Harrison Barnes, a rookie Draymond Green, because David Lee got hurt, and then Draymond as a rookie has to step in as a starter. Yes, that team is worse.
No, it wasn't.
No.
That's fucking lying.
Yeah.
It was
the Warriors.
I think he was missing Russell Westbrook.
Better than the Thunder, right?
Didn't Westbrook get hurt in 2013?
No, 24. No, he's talking about 2014. He's talking about 2014 right now.
Did David Lee play in that series?
He played 4 games and he was
okay. Then Curry's Curry's was worse. Then that's fine.
I'm about to say, and David Lee was hurt. He only played 9 minutes a game and looked on 4 games.
No, he had a worse supporting cast.
Draymond was playing better than him.
So he has a worse supporting cast. So we have to now it's even again.
Draymond was playing better than David Lee, though.
So now let's continue to have this conversation. Curry between 2013, 14, and 15, where the spacing is nowhere near as great as I think you're trying to make it out to be. In the postseason, is averaging 26 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 45% from the field, 41% from behind the arc, and 86.
Yeah,
do you think 2015 is great spacing around him?
What you mean? That crew was cooking in 2015. What are you talking about?
I'll ask you the question again. Do you think that was great spacing around him?
For Curry?
I've asked him this before. He said
Curry is the spacer.
That crew was great. Yes, that Curry.
I didn't ask you if the crew was great. Because OKC team crew was great as well.
Yes.
You said spacing.
Yes.
So the spacing was great because of Klay Thompson.
Yes, Low. He had Klay. You had Barnes there. And I think Iggy wasn't
Barnes
that
was
bad
not
either.
a spacer. Iguodala's not a spacer.
Guess what?
What year y'all talking about?
2015. They're not spacers.
2015, that was a good crew. That
no one's not saying you keep moving the bar.
What are you talking about?
No, he's hating. He's not about to give you an answer.
Do not answer if they was a good team or not.
Is that shit worse? Was that shit worse than what KD had on his?
I think they had spacing, bro.
No. They had spacing.
I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you if they're good or not.
You want me to answer questions to benefit your narrative?
No, and it's the same question you asked.
Because Curry's spacing in 2015 was better than what KD had on his.
That's not the question that you presented.
Because you presented on your fucking narrative.
I'm asking you the same question. You said that KD didn't have good spacing. You didn't say relative to another player. You just said he didn't have good spacing around him.
My bad.
So
I guess I'll say it.
You said 2015 Warriors, right?
I'll reiterate it because I think you would just understand. Just use common sense in which I'm talking about. I'm talking about KD. We're talking about comparing KD and Curry, especially in 2015. Curry had better spacing than KD. Simple.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So now let me ask you. Now let me ask you a question. Was Curry spacing in 2015? Was it this elite level spacing?
No, it wasn't nothing.
It was the system that worked. It was the system.
But
no,
I mean,
it was Curry that works.
But look,
no, it was
that's the thing.
I think it was. I think they had great spacing, bro.
But I think they had good spacing too. But don't worry about it because
nobody knew that you had to switch everything like they do now.
Because he's judging this run off of like the numbers and everything. Him having 28. Me considering fact he went up against the Pelicans. Bottom 20.
No, I'm just talking about the team. I'm just talking about the team. I don't care about who they win. I'm just asking you in a general sense.
No, because you're gonna go. I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to player performances.
I was actually done. I was actually done having the conversation.
They're gonna go to player performances and how they perform.
Done. I was done having the conversation. I'm done.
Fuck out. I mean, if your point is right, answering this question wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, I'm done. And that's it.
This Curry is the spacing argument is like, I mean,
Curry is the spacer.
Okay, Law,
Kevin Garnett?
Kevin Garnett's best defender was Kevin Garnett.
I mean, but
how was the Warriors spacing in 2013?
I don't think Curry had that great of a spacing around him before like 2015.
I mean,
they had space, but it wasn't just great. They led the league in.
It was the system. I'm telling you.
I'm saying the spacing on the 2013, the spacing on the 2013 Warriors wasn't all that great, correct?
Just give credit to the Steve Kerr.
If I'm not mistaken, if that was the last year that Jaren Jack was there, I guess you can argue, but like most of the players in the starting, because both David Lee and Andrew Bogut aren't spacers. I think Barnes might have been a rookie that season. He's definitely
Mark Jackson was the coach.
The spacing around Steph was
Brandon
Thompson. Like, what we doing? The spacing.
Yeah, I think the spacing around him consistently was basically just Clay. I just think that's what it was. I don't think anybody else.
The spacing is Steph. I mean, clearly there's more that goes into that than
that's what I'm saying. Like when
this is before like the real three-point ball era.
Go back to the original point when we was talking about deficiencies. Like I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never seen somebody bring up that somebody needs so much more around them in terms of their deficiencies. Like KD, you said KD. Like KD needs the elite playmaking. He needs the elite floor space. He needs the elite defense.
He needs the elite passing and playmaking.
He needs everything.
Come on, KD.
Oh, KD.
What the Rock is cooking. The legend of losing.
Oh Pause.
If for those who want to say that Curry needed,
he said he's gonna pull up on you because you've been dunking.
The space we talked earlier this week. The spacing that y'all think that David Lee provided. I mean, in 2015 he played 49 games. I don't know how many spacing he's.
That was Dub, not y'all.
Dub. I'm sorry, Dub. I know Dub saw that comment.
Don't disrespect David Lee, because I've been talking about David Lee this whole fucking time.
Don't disrespect
you acting as if he's not like a threat on the court for him is fucking stupid.
But when you're playing 49 games, he can't be a threat if he's not on the court.
I'm talking about 2013.
Oh, 2013.
Yes.
Yeah, in the playoffs.
I was gonna say 2014, but then he was hurt in.
Oh, okay. So he provided the evidence that even when you take away the spacer and David Lee, that he would still play at the level. Okay, cool. So,
this is before spacing was actually.
He played like shit.
Valid to talk about.
In 2015, he played like shit.
Lo, what in the blue hell are you talking about?
Oh, okay, Dub. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, Lo, what are you talking about, man?
Lo, you're just going all over the circle, bro.
Yeah, Lo, what are you talking about?
Hey, Ticket.
What we're really talking about is these NBA awards don't really matter.
Yeah. Do you think accolades matter?
Oh, he's an accolade merchant. So
of course they matter. You know, heard about Michael Jordan's 10 scoring titles? What are we talking about?
Of course, accolades matter. They determine, they solidify who you are. I mean, if you play in the NBA,
Cat.
If you play in the NBA, and I want to say this to you, hold on, accolades matter, and here's the thing: sometimes they can be overrated too. It all depends on how you look at it. For example, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Andre Drummond just said he's the best player, best rebounder in NBA history.
Another great example. Yes,
but he's only got like one All NBA selection, 2 All-Star games, and he's got 2 All-Star games, 1 All NBA selection.
Oh, yeah, he has only 1 All NBA. He's a fraud.
1 All NBA, two All-Star selections, and 4 rebounding titles. And he's running around here saying he's the greatest rebounder ever, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. Well, I mean, the accolades, him being a 2-time All-Star and a 1-time All NBA would fool you. If you looked at his impact, because the impact of his game, did it really do that much for his team? No. So I think that accolades do matter when you're looking at a player's career, but it depends on the player that we're talking about. I think it goes by case by case.
I mean, I think rebounds could only have so much impact when your team is trash.
Right. I mean, I agree with you on that too. I mean, like his impact on the game, he's averaging 17 and 13 some years, and they're struggling to get in the playoffs in the East. And it's just like, what is your real impact?
He wasn't that guy.
17 and 16.
Drummond was such a bad finisher. He used to rebound so many of his misses.
You guys are explaining why Andre Drummond is Moses Malone, but it's fine.
It's good.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he been saying that.
Nah, but Mo was a dog for real though. Mo actually won a championship. He was a dog.
That's when he joined that
super
team. Yeah, we joined that super team.
That's when he won.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have won the original KD. They wouldn't have won that one without. They wouldn't have won it without him. That year they wouldn't have won it without him.
Still a super team. Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't make a super team.
Still a super team.
I think
when the last 2 MVPs are on the same team with one another, when the team before they end up losing, before they got there, went to the finals and lost. And when they kept Dr. J, Bobby Jones, Andrew Toney, when they kept all those players and they added the last MVP on the roster, that is a super team. I mean,
you respect that, huh, Ticket?
It's
different when it's Moses Malone.
Lowe's on a super team now. Lowe's on a super team now with Dub and Mark. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That's 2 superstars and a role player. What are we talking about?
Wow.
Why would you call yourself a role player, Mars?
Let's be real. Let's be real. We know what's going on.
We know who does all the work, man.
Yeah, that's 2 superstars and a role player trying to be a star. Like
table setting for y'all.
That's Jordan. That's Jordan just trying to claim super team.
Dub is Draymond, yeah.
Transcendent.
Let's be honest. That's not
a transcendent.
Don't worry about it.
Don't accolades go along with
Draymond? That means he's the second most important player.
Dub, you're a goddamn troll, Dub, and I'm gonna get your ass. Don't worry.
Wait. You said accolades don't accolades do what?
This is my favorite.
I said, could you? I think accolades matter. When you look at somebody's peak, I think accolades and stats kind of go into that. when you measure peak for peak and see what a player actually does at their very best, I think accolades definitely play a part in that.
Stats,
like a person who got all the accolades. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. James Harden. He got all the accolades and MVPs and all that stuff. What does that really say about his what he has done in the game of basketball? It really doesn't say much.
All-time great scorer.
But he didn't win.
It still doesn't change the fact that he's an all-time great player.
That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna rank somebody in the top 10,
people now you're saying James Harden's an all-time great because of accolades, but really and truly, what did it equate to?
Right. See, that's the point.
Mars is trolling, but it's not a point.
So championships then matters if you're ranking them.
Still, that's also an accolade.
No, but you also, but with a guy like James Harden, you got to look at who he played with too. He had some great teammates, and he still couldn't get it done. That's an indictment on him.
In his peak, he had a bunch of great players.
I mean, the nigga played with Russ, CP3.
Russ is in his peak. Russ is his peak.
No, hold on. He played with Russ.
Top 10 point guard all time. Top 10 point guard all time.
He played with Russ in Houston. Russ had his best, most efficient season in the league, I believe.
But that wasn't his peak, though. That wasn't Harden's peak.
What's the year?
That wasn't part of
Harden's peak is like 17 to 19.
Oh well, I guess
that's because they played 5 out.
I guess it depends on what y'all.
What's the year that James Harden should have won a championship, but he didn't?
Right, I was just about to say, yeah.
2019.
2018.
It's 18.
He was supposed to beat the KD Warriors.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If James Harden is being demonized for not being able to be arguably the greatest team ever assembled, and that's why he's not held in high regard.
Or KD was hurt in 2019.
Even 2020 with Russell Westbrook. Are they better?
29,
No.
If you want to say 2019, but the 2019 Rockets were just much worse than the 2018 Rockets.
We lost.
Mars, what about the year?
I don't know. They was hurt that year. I don't think they was worse.
What about the year he lost to the?
They were worse.
What about the year he lost to the depleted Spurs? What about that year?
Yeah, the year he lost to the Spurs. If he beat them, he would have just lost to Golden State in the next rounds anyway.
Yeah,
he still doesn't win a championship.
Golden State were the gatekeepers. You really couldn't do much.
That's my point. I agree. James Harden has folded in the playoffs before, no doubt. I agree. James Harden has had many times he's underperformed. Closeout games he hasn't played well. There's still not a year he should have won a championship or was the best team in the NBA. That's what I'm saying.
2018, 17, 18.
If you're telling me that Houston team you think should have beat the 2018 Warriors, you think James Harden is a lot better than a lot of people?
No,
there's no way
the
that
CP3
team is
Chris
better than the Warriors.
The CP3,
there's
James
no way
Harden
that team
was
better
good.
than the
Why
Warriors.
people like underrate that?
Professor J, your mic is muted. If you
Mars, they were picking them. Mars, they were picking them to beat the Warriors, though. Mars, they were picking.
Yeah, they were, and I don't know why.
You don't know why? It's because
I didn't have nobody beating Steph Curry in those Warriors during that dynasty.
I did not have nobody beating the Warriors.
I agree.
I didn't have nobody.
The Houston Rockets did the best job of defending the Warriors and were the best matchup for the Warriors.
They
were the only team that made the series competitive. But I'm sorry, if James Harden's road to a championship is through beating arguably the best team to ever exist, and then we're demonizing him for not doing it.
No.
That's kind of weird.
No, I'm not demonizing. Like they really should have won.
Wade, he beat them.
Even the games when Chris Paul was injured, they really should have won. But those refs were not calling those fouls.
That's facts. Klay Thompson fouled that man on like 6 3-pointers.
2018, they should have won.
I got
2019, they should have won.
Hey, I got Mars right now. So Mars, let me ask you a lower question then. So do you guys think that if you would have changed Curry with James Harden this past year, he'd have won a chip with Joel Embiid?
Yes. Wait. With Joel Embiid being injured? No, probably not. But also, this James Harden is much worse than what he was a few years ago. I agree. This James Harden is not at the same level. This James Harden is just a worse player. Now he's in his second option, top 25 player phase. When he was a top 5 player, he wasn't going to beat the greatest team ever built. He wasn't. Now, if you want to say Steph Curry, who's still a top 5 player replacing James Harden, could win a championship on the Sixers, sure. I don't see how that's an indictment.
Hold on, Mars. Do you think Steph Curry do you think James Harden is peak for the one with Embiid, the chip?
If Embiid's healthy, yes, I think they win. If Embiid's still hurt, probably not. I think they might beat Boston if James Harden's there. Remember,
Embiid is so
I
don't like that.
I don't think the Sixers can beat Denver if Joel Embiid's not fully healthy.
Harden got them intangibles, man.
Embiid is too lazy for me. I don't know if he's gonna win.
You can perfectly say James Harden's missing some intangibles. I'm not arguing against that. I still think it's possible that James Harden could win, but when you're in the same conference as maybe the best team ever, you're not going to make the finals. You're just not going to. If he was in the East in 2018, I promise you he's in the finals. I promise you. If he's in the East in 2019, he might make the finals as well. If he's in the East in 2020, he might make the finals.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. What team you say was the best team ever?
Arguably the best team ever, the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, were they better than those Kobe and Shaq Lakers that lost one game in the playoffs?
That's why I didn't want to get into the. Are they best?
Maybe
they're not the best. They're arguably the best team ever, and when it comes
it's a conversation.
When it comes to an assembly of talent, they probably are the best team ever, just from a talent perspective. But arguably, they're the best team ever, and that's who James Harden's in his conference. Like,
but you do feel like James Harden in his prime could have won a championship with Joel Embiid. Do you feel that way too, Lo?
Yeah, if they're both healthy and they're playing, yes.
I mean, they were one game away.
If they were both healthy, I think they're definitely in the final this year. I think they get it out. And then if they beat Denver, that'll be an interesting series. With Doc Rivers coaching here.
I'm about to say. Then we get to
So you two nasty boys gonna put it on
kind of lazy.
Well, no, it obviously depends how people play, but Doc Rivers is not a great coach, so yeah.
Why all the players say he is?
There's a lot of players who say he is another.
Yeah, some say he's not.
Hello, I know you was gonna say that.
I'm just saying you ignoring the other side of the argument. People also say he's not.
No, because my side has got more people that agree with that. That's all. I'm just saying I understand where y'all coming from, man. He do got mistakes, but all these other coaches got mistakes too. What Greg Popovich look like without Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and the boys?
Actually, I think he's looked pretty fine without them. And when you put into contrast, the talent that he's had over the past 4 or 5 years, I think he's been fine. Actually,
thanks.
I think he's actually developed some of the. Once more, he's developed a lot of young talent that they didn't just kind of moved off on because they're trying to tank. But no, I think he's fine.
I asked Phil that yesterday, and he said he thought Popovich was He said he thought Popovich, and he said he thought Popovich and the coach that got fired from Detroit, Dwayne Casey, both did a poor job.
No, I think Popovich.
Yeah, but I don't think Chill watches a lot of the bad teams. And that's no knock to Chill. I just don't think he's spending time.
It's a knock.
Not really. I just don't think Chill's watching the Pistons and the Spurs very regularly.
He's not, because he doesn't even know Jalen Durant.
I mean, he didn't know Killian Hayes was left-handed. So I mean, like I just don't think he's watching them. So of course, from a outside perspective, a team's not winning games. You're not going to say the coach is doing a great job winning 20 games. Like that's not going to happen if you're not watching the team. Like I think that the coach OKC have Mark Daigneault. I think he's been a very good coach for the 3 years he's been there. He's only just started getting recognition this year because OKC started winning games. I think he's been doing a very good job. I also think the Utah coach is doing a very good job over there in Utah, and he's not getting enough praise because Will Hardy's doing a very good job in Utah as well. But like most people aren't watching these bad teams, so their opinion of the players is just going to be, are they winning games? Yeah. And then when it comes to the best players, oh well, this guy's averaging the most points on the team. He must be the best player on the team. Like he's not going to know, what's really good about Devin Vassell's game. Like you're not going to know that if you're not watching the team play. So
this is why again accolades don't really matter. Why wins and losses are not a great way to depict players because y'all just don't really watch a lot of
coaches either.
I disagree with Lo on that. And the reason why I disagree with you on that is I think that a lot of players' legacies are built off wins and losses. If Karl Malone wins a championship, his career is looked differently for winning wins and losses.
He still ain't getting
No, but look what I'm saying. People look at him in a whole different light if he won a tip. The same thing goes with guys like AI. The same thing goes with guys like Reggie Miller. The same thing goes with guys like T-Mac. All those guys are looked at differently if they won a chip. We look
it's all perception.
Because we look at Dirk differently because he won a chip.
And I think people's perspective. I think their perception is. I think that's dumb.
It's not dumb because it shows your true great. Hold on, it shows your true greatness. And Phil Jackson said this as a quote of one of the greatest coaches ever coached. He said true greatness is personified by winning. your impact on winning. What is your impact on?
But then you say winning a championship, though.
No, Ticket, can I ask you a hypothetical question?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said when that's what he said. He said your true impact on. You can look that quote up.
Ticket, what would be better for AI's legacy? What actually happened in 01 where the Sixers got to the finals? He had that great game one. They won that game, but then they ultimately lost to the Lakers.
If AI wins that, If AI wins that series,
you didn't hear the question.
AI goes down. You got a lot of people that probably put him over Isaiah as the best small guard in NBA history.
Fuck no.
Okay, can I finish my question?
Not even better than Grant.
I don't think you knew where I was going with the question.
This is why I don't like arguing little dudes like this, because he got to look at what I'm saying. When you looked at Isaiah, what did people knock Isaiah for? They said he beat the Lakers when they were hurt. They said he beat the Celtics when they were old. So if you're AI and you beat Kobe and Shaq in their prime, one of the greatest duos in the history that the game has ever seen, and you beat them after they didn't lose the game, and they went through the Spurs, they went through everybody, easy, swept all those teams. They're looking at AI in a whole different light now. Instead of just being a guard who jacked up a lot of shots, took his team to an NBA Finals, and that's it.
All right, Mark, can you finish your question?
Yeah, because my question wasn't really going there. So we know how AI played in the 2001 finals. Right? Everyone knows the 47-point game, averaged like 35 a game, blah, blah, blah. They lost in 5 games. Which is better for his legacy? That, how well he plays and all of that? Or imagine the Sixers won that series, but they won it on the strength of their defense. They did basically what the Pistons did. Slowed down Kobe. He had a terrible series. Shaq struggled. And Allen Iverson doesn't play particularly well. 25 points a game. 25 points a game. Terrible efficiency, but they win the series. Is that better for Allen Iverson, or is it better that he plays well even though they lost?
It's better that he wins. And
that's why I don't care. That's why.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you why. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you why. Because your effect on the game just ain't on scoring. Because his effect on that team also had to do with what we call gravity. He draws a lot of gravity from the other team, from how he plays, and the fact that he's the only offensive option. I'm gonna give you an example. Hold on, Mark. I'm gonna give you an example. Kobe Bryant would have rather won the game 7 in the finals against the Celtics the way he won it than lose it, and that be counted against his legacy as losing. He would rather won it ugly, playing an inefficient bad game, but trying to do other things to help win. You understand? Because if you think about it, even if AI was inefficient, his imprint still would have been on that series and on that game, or on that series for him to win the championship. So he still would have gotten high marks, even if he didn't play up to par. Like Shaq still gets credit for winning 4 championships, even though his 4th championship he was nothing like he was in the first 3.
That's my point. Isn't whether or not, like, I agree he'd probably get more credit. My point is playing better and losing should not be held in lower regard than someone playing worse and winning for other circumstances. The fact that the 76ers defense steps up and they slow down the Lakers offense, which allows the Sixers to win, and they win on the strength of their defense, does not all of a sudden make Allen Iverson better. And then we get these conversations where, because they won, and even though Allen Iverson wasn't tremendously efficient, or he didn't score a bunch of points, we end up having to add this little nuance of, well, he impacts the game with his playmaking and he's the only threat, so he creates for other people. He was doing that in the finals when they lost. He was doing that exact same thing, but because they lost, it doesn't just become more impactful. What happened was the defense was better and they won. His playmaking didn't become more valuable.
No, but he's a part of that.
They won.
He's a part of that, Mars. And here's the thing, right? Most coaches like players who are winning type of players. Like, for example, the truly great players impact winning at a entirely different level. For example, when you look at Tim Duncan, his impact on winning is undeniable, because we all agree that if he would have went to the Orlando Magic and played with T-Mac in his prime, they probably get a few championships over there, at least one on that team. That shows impact on winning championships. The same thing with Kobe Bryant after Shaq left. He went, got Pau Gasol, wins 2 more chips, goes to 3 more finals. Impact on winning championships, a part of your game. Listen, you can be a great player, but if you don't have an impact on winning, the actual players don't value that as much. The actual basketball, everybody that's in the basketball circle that played a coach, They don't value that as much. When you hear professional coaches talk and all these, they always talk about winning and winning players. They would rather have a winning style, like your impact. Like I said, I understand what you're saying. That doesn't mean that you ain't a great player if you didn't win championships. But it's levels, bro. Like we got to keep this in check. If one player didn't do as much as another player, but his impact on winning was, for example, look at Ginobili. His impact on winning was undeniable. But since he didn't do more than James Harden, people will say, "Oh, well, Harden is better than Ginobili."
They didn't have the same role.
A lot of coaches will tell you if Pop would have if any other coach would have let Ginobili come in the league and play his game, we probably looking at Ginobili in a whole different light. The way he, as good as he was, he got actually held back, but it was to the betterment of the team, and his game had a major impact on winning. So all I'm trying to say to you is this, bro. The impact on winning can't be discounted. It has to be a bonus. So if we're gonna praise players who don't have no impact on winning, guys like Bradley Beal who putting up 30, I ain't saying you praise him, but guys like Bradley Beal who putting up 30 every year, but getting his head cracked open. But if we say that if we go put KD on that team right now, that team would instantly go win 50 games. Same team traded 2 players. Well, then we got to be honest about that, because his impact on winning is major. If you took LeBron James and changed him, or traded him with Bradley Beal those years in Washington, those wins go up to around 48, 49 wins. So his impact on winning has to be a part of your legacy. So I disagree with Lowe when he says that that's dumb when people think that the impact on, no, it has to be, bro, because the truly great players impact winning and losing. That's why you play basketball. If you don't play to win, I don't know what Lowe talking about.
I don't think he's talking about impact.
No. Stop. The reason why it's dumb is because I can just bring up one player and his whole tone will change. Dominic Wilkins.
What about it?
He's a loser.
Right. I don't have no problem with you saying that.
You literally, like a few months ago, you were comparing Dominic Wilkins to Larry Bird.
No, I didn't. I said he was better than KD. Remember, I didn't say Larry Bird.
No. You specific. I remember.
No. I wasn't. No. That wasn't me comparing him to Larry Bird. I remember that conversation. That wasn't me. I was talking about KD. Somebody else came in for Larry Bird. I remember that conversation.
No,
you can pull it back up. Low. You can pull it back up. Low.
I've actually seen it recently, where we were having a conversation, and then you made it seem as if like Larry Bird and Dominic Wilkins were fairly close to one another, and you said the only reason why
they were on that level, you said Bird's teams were better, so he was winning the series.
Oh no. Hold on. That's true. Hold on. That was true. Now, but listen. Let's tell the truth. Dominic Wilkins did have an impact on winning. They were winning 50-something games. They were going. The only thing he did was kept running into Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Isaiah Thomas. And the Detroit Pistons.
So James Harden just kept running into the San Antonio Spurs and the Golden State Warriors.
But wasn't he supposed to be the greatest 2-guard ever? Hold on. He was the greatest 2-guard ever.
And they were wrong to say that. Everyone who said he was better than Jordan and Kobe was dumb.
Hold on. That's not true.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Daryl Morey might have been one of the very few who were vocal about saying that. But
they were saying he's the greatest 2-guard they ever seen. They never seen anybody that was able to score the ball.
I remember them saying like isolation score and stuff. It was dumb.
They were saying he was a better scorer than Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant.
That doesn't mean that he's better, though. A and B. Just because 2 or 3 people on TV said it, it's not how majority.
Okay, so let me ask you then: what do you have James Harden ranked all time as a 2-guard?
But also more importantly, I don't care about what other people are saying. We're
talking
about
your opinion. So hold on, I'm asking you: what do you have James Harden ranked all time as a 2-guard?
Probably like 5th or 6th or something like that. No,
okay, 4. Okay, so y'all listen. Hold on 1 second, Lo. I'm about to prove a point. Who do you have ranked over James Harden at 2-guard? Kobe.
You're gonna say Jordan, a bunch of people with championships.
No. I'm about to see who he say. Watch it.
Jordan, Kobe, Wade are definitely the 3 that are.
Okay, 3 champions. Keep going.
That's all.
Maybe I guess
that's it. Yeah, I think he's saying that's it.
That's all.
Hold on. You don't have time for it. Hold on. Wait. You only have Mike, Kobe, and D Wade as shooting guard over James Harden all time.
Unless
Jerry
you put,
West, if you
unless
can.
Let me hear
if
your
you
names,
put,
man.
If you put West as a shooting guard, then I would have West as well. That's it.
No AI.
No.
Put West as a shooting guard. He's a shooting guard. Come on.
See, hold on. And see, that's the thing. AI did more than what James Harden did. He led his own team to the finals. And this is the thing. Hold on. That's what I'm saying. Hold on. That's what I'm saying about
Hey,
hold on.
If
That's
James
my point.
Harden
Hold on. Hold on. Hey, I swear to y'all. Hey, I swear to y'all. I got a lot of love. I swear to y'all. I got a lot of love. Hold on. I got a lot of love for Low. I swear to y'all, I do. If James Harden is better playmaker and all this other stuff, over the course of his career, why couldn't he lead a team to the finals one time?
Okay, let's pause it.
If Allen Iverson was in the West, would he have made the finals?
I'm gonna say it's the same logic you just used for Dominique Wilkins. You just acknowledged that Dominique ran up against teams that were more talented than his team.
No, I'm saying AI had the same. If AI had hold on, here's all I'm saying. If AI had the same team as James Harden had, AI would have went to the finals in the West.
No, he would not have.
No, Allen Iverson is not beating those Warriors.
He's not beating the Warriors.
Man, on the Warriors.
You're not
beating the Warriors because he has Chris Paul next to him. He's not doing
the Warriors.
James Harden was up. Hold on, you niggas is on whole time.
Allen Iverson isn't going up. He's not going to be up.
AI might not get into the
James Harden was up. James, hold on. I'm gonna eat y'all niggas right now.
Not getting to the Western
I'm gonna give y'all. Hold on. I'm gonna give you niggas a 2-for-1 special.
That is actually true.
AI ain't losing that fucking game at home where they missed 27 straight 3-pointers, nigga.
They wouldn't be in the game 7. They wouldn't be in the game 7. They would have been at home already. They would have been at home in Cancun chilling. They would have made it to game 7.
Hold on. You tell me a prime
AI?
AI is second round exit.
Hey, Mars and Low, you two are the most disgusting, disrespectful people I know in the history of basketball, man. You niggas, y'all gonna tell me a nigga who took his own team to the finals couldn't do the same thing?
Different era. Like, come on, bro.
What teams did the Sixers beat in 01?
Y'all niggas don't know what AI was, nigga. And you all the whole ass niggas in this chat.
What teams did the Sixers beat in 01?
Nigga, I'm not saying that. I'm telling you that James Harden.
For the teams. I don't care what you're saying. What teams did the Sixers play?
Hold on. I'm telling you.
What teams did they play?
Hold on. First of all, it'd have been perfect for AI.
Answer the question.
Hold on. I'm about to answer your question. Listen, it would have been perfect. Hold on 1 second, Mars. It'd have been perfect for AI, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why it would have been perfect for AI.
I don't care.
Hold on.
Care about what you're saying. What teams did they play? I just want to hear teams. What teams did they play?
Nigga, I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about him on that. I'm talking about him on that James Harden thing.
I'm what you're worried about. What teams did they play? Who did the Sixers
talking about
play?
him on the James. Nigga, they played the Raptors. They played the Raptors.
I appreciate everyone for pulling up. Open Gym is returning on Tuesday. Ticket don't want to answer questions. I'm not about to continue.
Clowns, man.
I appreciate everyone for pulling up.
What
would be your top 5? Merge their offensive and defensive peaks.
Oh, he left.
Mars keep Pickens up. He seems corny. Bronze first in total points. That's a big deal. Steph was sitting on 4 courts. Low try and poke holes in every top 10 when his is asked to. Dub, did you find that Kareem match worth it? Someone has an echo.
Oh, let me fix that.
Is the echo gone? Okay. Low, I know you say Tim Duncan had the least talent of the top 10 players, but you don't think him having stability in terms of coaching and supporting cast makes up for it?
No. It's a dumb argument. He didn't have that much ability, and the coaching wasn't as good as y'all make it out to be in the beginning part of his career.
And 2021 is the year James Harden should have won a chip, but he was injured. That Nets team was his best chance at it. I apologize for ending the show so abruptly, but it's my show, and if you're just gonna not answer the question and we're already over the limit, I'm gonna wrap up the show. So
all right, Luke is overrated playmaker. I'll be back.
And also, I guess Clyde is better than I.